Hi, hello, how is it going? I am tired today. I am very tired. I had a very long day at work, but that's okay. It's not okay. I'm gonna be tired because I have to go in for work early tomorrow, but that's okay. It is kind of okay. It is in a way. Hi. Yeah, I switched it up today because I didn't really feel like being in the dark. Didn't really feel like being in the dark today, so we're switching it up. Also, no tic tac, so we don't have to worry about people calling me mommy. Perfect, perfect. I also know that I said this week we were gonna read the rest of Through the Looking Glass, but I'm gonna be honest, like, I started this book and it's a book that I was planning on starting with you guys, but I wanted to read the first chapter just to see whether or not it was good. And I can't wait until next week. I really need to find out what happens next. So we're just gonna put Through the Looking Glass on pause because I think this one might be a good one. Obviously, I don't know that because I didn't read the rest of it. Yeah, I can't tell if you're doing that as a joke, but like, I don't want to see that. Can't tell if you're doing that as a joke, but like, I don't want to see that. I'm not anybody's mommy. I'm not anybody's mommy. I literally just said it. And literally just said it. Thank you so much for the raid. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hi, hello, hi, hello, hi, hello. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. How was ASMR? How was stream? How was stream? Hi, hello, Raiders. My name is Puppkats. I am an asexual, non binary sex demon after nothing but your heart. Just cut it out for me, won't you? I use they, them pronouns. They, them, theirs. And right now we are. Well, I'm just explaining what we're gonna do, which is reading. Which is reading. Also, thank you. Who was first today? Thank you, memes, for being first. Get the first kiss of the day, possibly the only kiss of the day. We'll see how it goes. Clearly wasn't the only kiss of the day. Clearly. Hi, hi, hi. Yeah, I am. I like doing reading streams. I do. What were you reading if you want to share? Also, if anybody needs sleep because you're hungry, tired, and are sleepy, you can exit stage left. You don't have to hear me breathe heavily into the microphone because of my asthma. You'll hear me gasp for breath every 5 minutes. But you can definitely exit if you need to. But if you don't, you can also stay. Both is fine. Both is fine. Both is fine. Breathing into your ear. Yeah. Skyrim library. Oh. I heard the Skyrim lore is like a lot. I'm not familiar with Skyrim, like at all. I heard it's a good game, but I just couldn't really ever get into it, to be honest with you. And not because I think it's bad, just could never really get into it. Maybe one day, maybe one day. It does sound like it would put you right to bed. Sleepy time. I'm imagining a lot of like fantasy. Imagining so much fantasy. But yeah, if anybody needs to leave because you are hungry, you are tired, you are sleepy, you can definitely exit stage left. You can go to sleep, go to sleepy time junction. Yeah. I'm not gonna be reading. I am not gonna be reading a quiet book. Actually, I'm reading a mystery tonight. Collection of books from the game about lore. Elder Scrolls series as a whole. Is it like found like within the game, or it's like offline content, like off game content? I keep asking questions, but like if you need to leave, you can go. I'm just like curious. Oh, gotcha. Brian David Gilbert read all the Skyrim books. I've never seen that. I think I know who that is. I think he's on what am I thinking about? I think he's on what's that show called? Actually. Actually, I think that show. I think he's on that show, no? Yeah, I was trying to think about it. And I was like, I actually like that show for somebody that hates actually ass motherfuckers, but the show is fun. The show is cute. Cutesy. I think I've seen a couple of his YouTube videos. Oh, you have the physical book? We love a physical book. We love a physical book. But yes, I don't know how long you were reading for, but I know I get really eepy and sleepy. Sorry, I'm about to burp. I know I get really eepy and sleepy when I read. I just ate like an hour ago, and I ate really, really fast, and I didn't have time to take a nap. So I am feeling pretty eepy, I can't lie to you. I am feeling pretty eepy, I can't lie, I can't lie. Right, for an hour, yeah, you might be tapped, you might be tapped. So go take care of yourself, nourish yourself in whatever way sounds good for you. Usually I read for like 3 hours or 4 hours, but it's usually because I'm yapping in between. I'm yapping in between. I just can't stop. I can't stop. I also can't stop reading. I can't stop. I also don't know why the chat isn't popping up. That is quite interesting, you know? Quite interesting to me. Actually, and factually. Yeah. I'm just looking at something, some confusion. I may not be able to just like see YouTube tonight, and that just may, that might be what it has to be. I might just have to ignore that. Ignore that. I don't really ever say that I do like normal ASMR because I really don't. Don't really like doing traditional ASMR. It kind of makes me feel like I'm like a gashapon. It makes me feel like I'm a gashapon instead of feeling like a streamer. Because then people like, not to say that people are like mean or anything, but people kind of get a little weird. Where they're like, I just do this trigger and shut the fuck up. And it's like, oh my god. Oh my god, like I'm a person. Like give me a second. Oh my god. It's giving very much dance monkey dance, and like I don't really like that. So I tend to do non-traditional non-traditional ASMR. Not that people can't also be nice. People can also be nice. But it's rare. It's rare sometimes. Yeah, honestly, that's why I'm kind of grateful that I stopped doing ASMR on like my main channel, to be honest, because like, you know, and then I get to kind of start from the ground up. Kind of start from the ground up. And then I get to set up brand new rules over here because I think over on the other channel, people are getting a little bit too excited. A little bit too excited. When does the Switch come in? I don't know. It's processing right now. Throne has to officially process all the money, and then they'll tell me. And then they'll tell me. And they'll tell me. Yeah, I chose to just separate it, which I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with people that don't separate it, but there's this really big, I wish I could remember their name off the top of my head, but honestly, maybe it's good I don't remember their name, because I wouldn't want to talk about people or make it sound like I'm, like, shading somebody, even though I'm not. This is not shade, because I really like this content creator, but, like, this really big VTuber that I know who's very popular, they stopped doing ASMR, but they got really big off of ASMR, which no tea, no shade on that, because like no tea, no shade, get it how you live, son. Like I think if you're trying to get that partner badge, baby, do that mommy ASMR, do that daddy ASMR, get that badge, bro, and then start doing video games. Like I get it, I get it. But like they stopped doing it because of what I just said, because it felt like people just wanted them to like moan into the mic and stuff, or just like, you know, call them good boy and whatnot, and they were just like so tired of it. They were like, sometimes I want to play a video game. You know, sometimes I'd love to just play a fucking video game. So it felt better for me after I saw what they had gone through. It felt better for me to like separate my two channels so that I could play a fucking video game when I want to. And then this is the only space you'll get ASMR. It's much easier that way. Even though I'm sure people are confused, but I don't know. There's nothing I can really do. Put the fries in the bag, literally. If you don't put those fucking fries in the bag, we want to hear the popping. We want to hear the mouth sounds. That's all we want to hear. We don't want to hear you yapping. We don't want to hear that shit. We don't want to hear that shit. I did ASMR for over a year now. Both are mixed. And I don't think there's any like wrong pathway, to be honest. I think it's just dependent on what you like. On what you like, what fits for your channel. What fits for you as a content creator, you know? For me it was just this was the move. This was the move. Yeah, I've done like diagonal streams before. It's just kind of dependent on my mood. I just didn't really feel like being straight today. Not during Pride Month. Definitely not during Pride Month. More mouth sounds. I got you, Inu. I got you. Just for you. Just for you. Just for you. I miss on seeing regulars a lot. It's okay. I mean, like, I like to see it as like you just get to, well, I mean, obviously every person has a different view of things. Every streamer has a different view of things, but like I like to see it as like I get to build like a new community as like an ASMRist, you know? Because this is the only content I'm going to do on this channel. I'm not doing anything else. So so over there I get to be like more of a variety content creator, and over here I get to be an ASMRist, which I get to be my ASMRist, which is different. So I get to have like my regulars over there, and then I have my regulars over here. I'm doing a lot of popping recently. Also, thank you for the hydrate earlier. I did see that. Where did I put my water? That's the actual question. Oh my god, it's over there. It's over there, and it's by my bedside. I have to scoot and go get it. I had to switch the PC. I'm gonna go get my water real quick, and then I'm gonna come back and also put away this tablet because I thought I was gonna put on Twitch tonight. Sorry, not Twitch. I thought I was gonna put on TikTok tonight, but TikTok doesn't get to see me tonight, so I don't need the tablet. Okay, let me go real quick. Trying to spare everybody from listening to every single time I burp. Okay, let me drink some water. Mm. Thank you. I do in fact feel very, very hydrated. Thanks much. I'm actually like really full right now. Like incredibly full. Because I ate so fast earlier. I ate so fast. Maybe you're a weird sicko that likes my burps. Wow, thank you. Wow, thank you. Hi Mac, hi you. Hmm. Hi. Yes, so yeah, we're doing reading tonight. We're doing reading tonight. Maybe like in like, oh, I don't know, when I get bored, we'll do like an ASMR just chatting stream, but like I'm not bored yet. I really want to read a book. I'm not bored yet. I still want to read a book. I'm just like really full, guys. I'm super full. I'm so full. I ate like so fast because I was starving. I had my first meal today at like 5 because I was working the whole day and like there was no time for me to eat. I had tacos and they're like sitting inside of me like a rock, you know. Like they're sitting pretty heavy inside of me. I'm like, oh, I was so fat and nasty. Let me stop. I was so fat and nasty. I ate everything. Ate everything in sight. Okay, let me actually. The tacos were okay. I think I was just starving. They were okay. You know, I've eaten better. It was okay. I was supposed to have Chinese food, but like, oh no, tacos were calling me today. But I've been craving Chinese. You know, I really want like barbecue pork. So good. Barbecue pork and some chow mein. Oh, yummy, 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 yummy. Okay. Okay, let me stop talking about food. I'm not even hungry. Just fucking gluttonous. Okay. Yeah, happy birthday, Mac. If everybody didn't know, it's Mac's birthday. Happy birthday. No, I'm not getting any Chinese food. I'm going the fuck to sleep after this. Like, I need to rub my fucking belly. After this, I'm gonna go lie down. Like, I need to rub my fucking belly, dude. Like, I actually feel like not well. I'm doing a good job of hiding it from you guys, but like, I need to burp, like, so bad. I need somebody to hold me and just pat me on the back, like, seriously. But unfortunately, I am single and sad, so that's not gonna happen anytime soon. Yeah, it's Mac's birthday, so wish Mac a happy birthday. We still haven't gotten into this book anyway. I don't plan to be here for 4 hours. I got work tomorrow, so. I got work tomorrow, 3 hours stream, maybe 3.5 hours. Kind of depends on how I wrap up, but like about 3 hours stream. Okay, okay, okay. Enough yapping. That's for Friday, okay? That's Friday's stream. Today, we're gonna read, and by we, I mean me. I'm reading The Face on the Milk Carton, which is a thriller mystery situation. I'm dead ass, Inu. I'm dead ass because I really have to go to work tomorrow and I'm gonna be tired as shit. So I'm actually gonna go the fuck to sleep. On Fridays, like, I'm a little bit more relaxed because I ain't got shit to do the next day. But like today, like I gotta go. So when I see that 3 hour mark, I'm gonna try to wrap that shit up. But yes, yeah, I'm running a tight ship. I have to now because memes, if memes is timing me these days, so it feels like memes wants me to end on time, and you know I love to listen to my puppets. I really do. You know, meme says that I keep going over stream. You know, I keep doing these extra hours, so I've just decided to not give you any more hours. You know, I've just decided if I say 3 hours, I should really end the stream without anything else. Yeah, he said that. Yeah, he said all of that actually. And then he gave a dinosaur fact, even though nobody asked. You know, doesn't that sound like him? Doesn't that sound like him? I think so. Anyway, just to answer the last question or the last comment. Yes, thank you, by the way, for the. Fuck, does that sound like me? It does. Thank you, by the way, for everybody that donated to my Switch too. Throne is in charge of telling me when I get it, so. after they're done processing, they'll let me know when they ship it and they do all this stuff. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Thanks much. I do appreciate it. The only other thing my throne is not disappearing, by the way. I'm not I'm a content creator, so it's still on there, but it's still on there. But like the only thing I want now is pretty much Pokepia. I want to play Pokepia. To be honest, I want to stream Pokepia because I'm not that familiar with Pokemon and I think it would be fun. But that's the last thing that I'm doing. And then after that, I'll go back to normal how I was before. That's pretty much it. But thank you. I appreciate the likes and retweets anyway. Don't worry, it's all appreciated. I said thank you to everybody in my letter. Yes, yes. Oh my god, guys. I think I'm having like a heart attack. I think the taco is trying to kill me. I think. Oh, dude, I think that taco is trying to kill me. Okay, let's lock in. I think that taco. Before the taco kills me, let's at least read a little bit. Yes, we're reading The Face on the Milk Carton by Carolyn B. Cooney. It is a thriller mystery situation. It follows Janie, who discovers something interesting about her life, and that's all I'm gonna say right now. You can kind of guess what it's gonna be based on the title of the book. If you've never read a book with me before, hi, hello, this is the first time you're here. I like to yap in between, and I like to pause when I feel like it's necessary. I like to do all the yapping. So if that's not your thing, then I'm not the one for you. I'm not the streamer for you, and that's okay. You don't need to tell me to like start reading again. Okay? Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna read and then comment on it as I feel like it's necessary. And pause when I feel like it's necessary. Does that all make sense? Great. And just to clarify, we will return to Alice in Wonderland. I just really wanted to read this book. So Alice in Wonderland will be returning. Or I should say, Through the Looking Glass will be returning. Because, like, I am curious about, like, how that one ends, but just, like, not right now. Just really not right now. Alright, let's get into it. As always, get as cozy and as comfy as you feel like you need to be. I cannot see anything. I cannot see the screen, so if something gets messed up, I would ask that you tell me because I'm not looking at that. I have my face buried in this book, okay? Okay. The Face on the Milk Carton. Author's note. Dear reader, LaGuardia is one of New York City's airports, a huge and busy place. Years ago, I had to catch a plane departing from LaGuardia, and when I entered the concourse, I found it plastered with homemade missing child posters. There were hundreds of them. I stopped to read one. It included a small black and white photograph of a child, maybe 2 or 3 years old. When I read that description, I found that this child had been missing for 15 years. All I could think of was that child's parents. Maybe they'd gotten up that morning with their stack of papers and their rolls of scotch tape and had driven to LaGuardia, still hoping, after 15 years, that among the 100,000 passengers who were coming and going, surely one would recognize the little girl and tell them where she was now. I boarded my plane weeping for that mother and father because it was not possible. You can't recognize anybody 15 years later from a picture at age 2. And then it hit me. There was one person who might recognize the missing child, and that, of course, was the child herself. What can it be like to recognize yourself on a missing child poster? When you realize it's you, what is your first thought? Perhaps you have family who you love. If you're somebody's missing child, who then are these two people you call mom and dad? Can they be your kidnappers? What should you do next? If you tell anybody, if you call that number on the bottom of the poster, your family as you know it will be destroyed. And that will be terrible because you love your family. But if you don't tell, what about the other family who put up the poster and who have worried about you for all these years? The face on the milk carton is a story that leaped up out of nowhere when I was rushing along carrying luggage and worried about check-in. It is not my story, and it is not a story that built up in my heart over the years as I was bursting to write it down. It is its own story. Out of the thousands of people who also saw those posters, I was the only one who thought, this is a great story. I must write about it. And so I wrote the book you're holding. When I saw that poster, I had no idea where the story would go. And now it's your turn to read Janie's story and discover what happened. Ooh la la. As a reminder, I did read chapter 1 because I wanted to make sure that it was good to read. So I'm kind of familiar with what already happens, but after that, I am going in blind with everybody else. Chapter 1. Janie finished her essay. She never knew what grade she would get in Mr. Brilow's class, English class. Whenever she joked, he wanted the essay serious. Whenever she was serious, he had intended the essay to be lighthearted. It was October. Outdoors throbbed with autumn. She could feel the pulse of the deep blue skies. With every leaf wrenched off his twig and whirled by the wind, Janie felt a tug. She felt like driving for hours, taking any road at all, just going. Actually, Janie was only 15 and had barely started driving lessons. She was having driving fantasies because of dinner last night. Her parents, as always, had taken opposite sides, setting themselves up like a debate team. Her mother and father would argue until some invisible Marshall timer rang. Then they would come to terms, rushing to meet in the middle. Until last night, her mother had said Janie could begin driving, while her father said she could not. She's just a baby, her father said, in the infuriating, affectionate way of fathers. She's old, said Janie's mother lightly. Practically a woman. A sophomore in high school. I hate when that happens, her father grumbled. I like my little girl to stay little. I'm against all this growing up. He wound some of Janie's hair around his wrist. Janie had fabulous hair. A wild, chaotic mane of red curls glinting gold. People always commented on it. As her best friend, Sarah Charlotte said, Janie, that is serious hair. I guess you've grown up anyway, Janie, said her father reluctantly. Even with all the bricks I put on your head to keep you little. Okay, I give in. You can drive. In English, Janie smiled to herself. Her father was an accountant who, in the fall, had time to coach the middle school soccer teams. Today, after school, he'd have a practice or a game. But when he came home, they'd go driving. Janie wrote her name on her essay. She had gradually changed her name. Jane was too dull. Last year, she added a Y, becoming Jayne, Jane, which had more personality and was sexier. To her last name, Johnson, she added a T and later an E at the end. So now she was Jane Johnstone. Her best friends, Sarah Charlotte Sherwood and Dear Odell, had wonderful, tongue-twisting, memorable names. Why, with the last name Johnson, hardly a name at all, more like a page out of a phone book. Why had her parents chosen Jane? They could have named her Scarlet or Allegra, perhaps Roxanne. Those are pretty good names, I can't lie. Jane is pretty basic, I can't lie. I cannot lie, Jane. I'm sorry, Janie, I'm sorry. You spilt your coffee. It's what you get. You must have done something terrible today. It's just, just happens. Roxanne. But whenever I think of Roxanne, I do think of that song Roxanne, which I will not sing. It's already singing in my head, but I won't sing it for you guys, don't worry. That was like top 10 earworms, I swear to you. Now, she took the H out of Johnstone and added a second Y to Jane. Jane Johnstone. It looked like the name you would have if you designed sequin gowns for a living or pointed to prizes on television quiz shows. Roxanne from the Goofy movie, I forgot about that. It's a good name. It is a good name. I said they were all good names. I think I like Scarlett more than Joanne, though. But then I think of Scarlett Johansson, who is the worst, so I don't know. I don't know. Earth to Janie, said Mr. Brylow. She blushed, wondering how many times he had called her. The rest of us are reading our essays aloud, Janie, said Mr. Brylow. We'd like to issue an invitation for you to join us. She blushed so hotly she had to put her hands over her cheeks. Don't do that, said Pete. You're cute when your face matches your hair. Immediately, the back row boys went into a barber shop singing, hands on their heart, invisible straw hats flung into the air. Once in love with Janie, they sang. Janie never had a boyfriend. She was always asked to dances, was always with the crowd, but no boy had actually said, I want to be with you and you alone. Mr. Brylow told Janie to read her essay aloud. Her blush faded. She felt white and sick. She hated standing up in class, hated hearing her voice all alone in the quiet of the room. The bell rang. English was a split period. They had lunch in the middle and came back for more class. Never had lunch come at such an appropriate moment. Perhaps she would write a better essay during the 27 minutes of lunch. Certainly, it wasn't going to take Janie long to eat. They had recently discovered that she had lactose intolerance. This was a splashy way of saying she had stomach aches when she drank milk. No more ice cream, no more milk, was the medical/parental decree. However, peanut butter sandwiches, which she had in her lunch bag, required milk. I am so sick of fruit juice, Janie thought. I want milk. I thought this was perfect. I immediately thought of memes when I was reading this. Like, I felt like it was very memes coded. She really fucking likes milk. This next part, let me tell you. She had been eating. She had been eating since the school year began with Pete, Adair, Sarah Charlotte, Jason, and Katrina. She loved all their names. I wouldn't know. I'm fucking allergic to peanut butter, so I wouldn't fucking know what the hell you people eat with peanut butter and jelly, okay? All I can have are Nutella sandwiches, and I don't even eat those anymore. They're kind of too sweet. I'm like an old man. It's too sweet for me. You people, yeah. Oh, sorry. The fireworks scared me. At least I hope those are fireworks. Scared me. I mean, black people. No, I mean, I mean peanut butter enjoyers. People that can consume peanut butter without dying from anaphylactic shock. Those people. Those people. She loved all their names. Her last year's daydream, before a driver's license absorbed all the daydream time, had been about her own future family. She couldn't picture her husband to be, but she could see her children perfectly. Two beautiful little girls, and she would name them Denim and Lace. She used to think about Denim and Lace all the time. Shopping at the mall with wow, that's a tongue twister. Sarah Charlotte. She'd go into the shoe stores, they're trying to get me, to play with little tiny sneakers for newborns and think of all the pretty clothes she'd buy one day for Denim and Lace. Now, she knew those names were nauseating. That's why I had to say this next part. Now she knew those names were nauseating, and if she did name her daughters Denim and Lace, there'd probably be a divorce and her husband would get custody on the grounds anybody who chose those names was unfit. She'd have to name them something sensible, like Emily or Margaret. Peter, Adair, Sarah Charlotte, Jason, Katrina, and Janie went in a mob down the wide stairs and through the wide halls and into the far too small cafeteria. The kids complained about the architecture of the school, all that space dedicated to passing periods and hardly any to lunch. But they loved being crammed in, flicking each other's potato chips, telling secrets they wanted everybody to overhear, passing notes to be snatched up by the boy you hoped would snatch them, and sending the people on the outside of the crush to get you a second milk. Everybody but Janie Johnson got milk. Cardboard cartons so small you needed at least 3, but the lunch ladies would never let you. Janie was envious. Those luckies are swigging down nice, thick, white milk, she thought, and I'm stuck with cranberry juice. We're gonna slide past that. We're gonna slide past that. Okay, said Sarah Charlotte. Wow. She was right. Her name is a tongue twister. Sarah Charlotte would not bother with you if you tried to abbreviate her name. Last year, she reached a standoff with a teacher who insisted on calling her Sarah. No, I love cranberry juice. I'm a big cranberry juice defender. Actually, you would know this if you tuned into one of my streams. You would know this about me. I have a problem with her saying nice, thick, white milk. But like cranberry juice, no, I love cranberry juice. Big cranberry juice lover. I got that shit tatted on my back. I love cranberry juice. Yeah, Jane, but she wants to drink milk. That's the thing. She's a milk lover, even though she's lactose intolerant, like most lactose intolerant people are. They just can't get enough of that milk, I tell you. Well, it depends on the milk, because there's like soy milk. That 2% is basically like water, you know what I mean? If soy milk's like kind of thick, not gonna lie, so I think it depends on the milk. I don't like skim because it tastes like water. At least to me, it's like a weird texture. I don't really like it. Okay, anyway. Last year, she reached a standoff with a teacher who insisted on calling her Sarah. Sarah Charlotte glared at him silently for months until he began calling her Miss Sherwood, which let them both win. Okay, who's been kidnapped this time? Said Sarah Charlotte warily, as if jaded with the vast number of kidnappings in the world. Sarah Charlotte patted her white blonde hair, which was as neat as if she had cut it out of a magazine and pasted it onto her head. Janie, whose massive hair was never the same 2 minutes in a row, and whose face could be difficult to find beneath the red tangles, never figured out how Sarah Charlotte kept her hair so neat. Hi, Supreme. Hi-oh. Hi. I have approximately 500,000 fewer hairs than you do, Sarah Charlotte explained once. Everybody turned the milk cartons over to see who had been kidnapped. The local dairy put pictures of stolen children on the back of the carton. Every few weeks, there was a new child. I don't know how you're supposed to recognize somebody who was 3 years old when she got taken from a shopping center in New Jersey. That was nearly a dozen years ago, said Adair. It's ridiculous. Adair was as sleek and as smooth as her name. Even her dark hair matched, unruffled and gleaming like a seal out of water. Janie sipped juice from a cardboard packet and pretended it was milk. Across the cafeteria, Reeve waved. Reeve lived next door. He was a senior. Reeve never did homework. It was his life ambition to get in the Guinness Book of World Records, and the only thing he had a stab at was, quote, never did his homework once, but still got the occasional B plus listing. Reeve had gotten the occasional B plus, but he had also gotten a lot of D's and F's. News came from the academic office that unless Reeve shaped up, he would not graduate with his class. His two older sisters and the one brother that had gone to a spectacular college, Cornell, Princeton, and Stanford, they were mortified by Reeves's failures and came home weekends to tell him so. Reeve had ceased to speak to his entire family. In fact, he stormed away and had supper at Janie's so often that Janie's mother had said last night, I'm thinking of charging your parents a meal fee. Reeve did not laugh. In a strangled voice, he said, I'm sorry. I won't come again. Janie's father punched him. The way, if it had been Janie, he would have hugged. Jabbing Reeve in the gut, her father said, Meals here, bed there, Reeve. Someday we'll collect our debt. Yeah, when I'm the plumber, said Reeve gloomily. You'll let me clean your drains. Now, Reeve, just start studying and pull those grades up and... Her father broke off. Right, he said, punching Reeve again. In this house, we won't discuss it. Here, have a brownie and some ice cream. It was such a trespass on Reeve that everyone knew the details. Whatever Reeve kept secret, his mother told Janie's mother anyway. Reeve felt cramped by the intimacy of his life. He had always lived in this town, always gone to this school. I want to live in a city, he said last night, and be anonymous. Ruefully, Janie thought her name would give her a pretty good start if she wanted to go anonymous. Sarah Charlotte was hoping Reeve would ask Janie out. Sarah Charlotte was not interested in getting her driver's license. She was interested in having a steady boyfriend who had to be tall, handsome, muscular, smart, courteous, and rich. Reeve was all but one. And if Reeve doesn't ask you out, was Sarah Charlotte's theory, maybe his friends will. Janie did not think the boy next door ever came through in real life, nor would Reeve's friends ask her out. Last year's seniors had dated lots of younger girls. This year's seniors seemed annoyed that they had to be in the same building, and Janie felt younger than her age. She had grown later, and grown less. While Adair and Sarah Charlotte were busy becoming sophisticated and articulate, Janie remained small. Her mother said she was cute. Janie loathed that word. Cute was for toddlers and kittens. Boys didn't date cute little girls. They dated streamlined, impressive women like Sarah Charlotte and Adair. Besides, how would she date? Her parents didn't even let her go to the shopping mall alone. They never let her date. Alone? With a boy? Not likely. Janie waved back at Reeve, and he turned to his friends. Duty done. If he knew I'm really Jane Johnston, she thought, would he do more than wave? She felt curiously heavy, like the difference between whole milk and skim. Through the cafeteria windows, the sun gleamed, filling the school with golden shafts in which dust swirled. On her left, so close he was nearly in her lap, Pete drank his milk in one long swig and crushed the carton in his hand. The boys loved doing that. If they had a soda, they stamped the can under their feet and looked proudly at the flat aluminum. My mother says none of them are really kidnapped anyhow, said Pete. She says it's all the hype. It took Janie several seconds to realize he was talking about the face on the milk carton. What do you mean? She said. She ate her peanut butter sandwich. Almost anything with peanut butter was excellent. Peanut butter and marshmallow fluff, peanut butter and bananas. But a person needed milk to wash it down. All it is, said Pete firmly, is divorce, where one parent gets mad and takes his own kid, but he doesn't tell the other parent where they're going. It's never actually a stranger stealing a kid like on television. You mean they aren't really stolen? Said Sarah Charlotte, vastly disappointed. She made several dramatic gestures. There was no room for dramatic gestures in the cafeteria, and people grabbed to save the whipped cream towers on their jello from getting splattered by Sarah Charlotte's hands. Nobody wants a ransom? Cried Sarah Charlotte. Nobody's being tortured? If I drink one carton of milk, Janie thought, is my allergy so serious I'll die? How boring the obituary would be. Here lies Jane Johnson. I should put Jayne on my stone. Janie shook her head. Pete and Jason immediately complained that they had gotten red hair in their faces, and would please Janie get a grip on her hair. What do you want me to do? Demanded Janie. Janie? Wear a hairnet around it? Also, the ad break is going to happen in about 5 minutes. So if you're not subscribed, you will be seeing 3 minutes of advertisements because it is the top of the hour ad break. So lower your headphones if your headphones are high. Either that or build an addition to the cafeteria to house it, said Peter. Everybody giggled. Janie shook her hair more vigorously. The boys ducked and threw potato chips at Janie while she reached for Sarah Charlotte's milk and drank it up. Perfect meal. Peanut butter sandwich and a glass of milk. Janie set the carton down and sighed with pleasure. The little girl in the back of the carton stared back at her. It wasn't much of a picture. After all, how good could a picture be when it was printed on a milk carton? You ready for that algebra test? Jason asked Adair. I was ready till I ate cafeteria food. Do you think he'll let me out of the test if I have food poisoning? The girl on the carton was an ordinary little girl. hair in tight pigtails, one against each thin cheek, a dress with a narrow white collar. The dress was white with tiny dark polka dots. Something evil and thick settled on Janey, blocking her throat, dimming her eyes. Sarah Charlotte, she said. She could hear herself shouting Sarah Charlotte's name, yet her lips were not moving. She was making no sound at all. She reached towards Sarah Charlotte's sleeve, but her hand didn't obey. It lay motionless on the top of the carton. It looked like somebody else's hand. She could not imagine herself wearing that shade of nail polish or that silly ring. "You drank my milk," accused Sarah Charlotte. "It's me on there," Janey whispered. Her head hurt. Was the milk allergy already setting in? Or was she going insane? Could you go insane this fast? Surely it took years to lose your mind. She imagined people losing their minds the way you might lose a penny or your car keys, accidentally dropping your mind in the cafeteria. "On where?" said Peter. "The girl on the back of the carton," whispered Janey. How flat her voice sounded, as if she had ironed it. "It's me." She remembered that dress, how the collar itched, remembered the fabric. It was summer fabric. The wind blew through it, remembered how those braids swung like red silk against her cheeks. "I know you're sick of school," said Sarah Charlotte, "but claiming to be kidnapped is going a little too far, Janey." Pete retrieved his flattened milk and tried to shape it back into a carton. He read between the folds. "You were stolen 10 years ago from a shopping center in New Jersey, Janey? What are you doing here?" "Yeah," said Adair, giggling. "Why aren't you off yelling for the police?" "She's just trying to get out of reading her essay," said Jason. "No, she's just trying to steal my milk," said Sarah Charlotte. The bell rang. The others hurled their garbage towards the plastic-lined trash cans by the door and missed, ducking under the plump arms of the lunch ladies. They raced back to class instead of picking it up. Janey held Sarah Charlotte's empty milk carton and stared at the photograph of the little girl. "I was kidnapped." Chapter 2. After I read that, guys, I was like, I need to do the stream today. I was so upset. I read it like a few days ago and I was like, oh my god, fuck whatever Alice has going on. I was like, what? What's gonna happen next? I had to know. I had to know. Maybe she's in shock, you strange children. To be fair, like, if my friend, also they're like sophomores in high school, so like, you know, they're not like adults, right? Like, I don't know, like if I was a sophomore, I'm trying to think about myself when I was in high school. I mean, I was pretty immature, so I don't know. I feel like a friend told me, like, I think I was kidnapped. Like, I don't really know what I would do, to be honest. I don't know if I'd make fun of them, but like, I don't know what I would do, you know? I can't really blame them for being like, Janie, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? I can't really blame the children. Cause like, what do you do in that situation? Like, you realize that like you're kidnapped, like, like what do you do actually? That's why I'm so curious about what's gonna happen next. I'm like, oh my god, what is she about to do? Because like immediately my mind is like, well, if I found out I was kidnapped like today, I don't know. I don't know what I would do. Because like I'm a grown adult now, so it's like I don't know. I'm like a grown adult now, so it's like. Also, thank you for the head pats. But it's like I guess I would go to the police. But like Janie can't drive, so she can't even go to the police. You know what I mean? We just crossed that out of her book. So could she like walk to the police? But does she have a phone? We don't know that. We don't know whether or not she has a phone and she can't drive. I don't know the time period that this book takes place in. I mean, they're still doing photos on milk cartons, so I don't know. Like, do we have cell phone service? I don't know. I guess we're gonna find out. Chapter 2. I want to say more, but honestly, like I'm so excited to read the rest of the book, so I'm so excited. So let's just jump into it. Janie learned that her body could function without her. She lived entirely inside her mind, searching her memory like a little kid going through an encyclopedia, trying to find the right heading. Jane Elizabeth Johnson, kidnapping of. Ooh, that's a good theory. Let's find out if it's true. That's a good one. Her body, including her voice, her smile, even her knowledge during sixth period, she was actually able to answer questions in biology lab, continued to work properly. How interesting, Janie thought clinically. My body doesn't need me. She had a sense of herself being brain dead, running on tubes and machines. Inside, her mind spun. It was like having a color wheel for a brain. When it slowed down, things were separate, like primary colors. I have a mother and a father. I have a childhood. I I was not kidnapped. Kidnapping means bad people. I don't know any bad people, therefore, I'm making this up. But when her mind sped up, the colors blended dizzily. That is me on there. Janie Johnson, I was kidnapped. But this could not be. The facts did not compute. She tried to climb outside of her mind and go to where her body was sitting neatly at a desk, neatly taking notes. It was like crawling on glass. No matter how firmly she resolved not to think such stupid things, she thought them. She slithered backward into her mind. Perhaps it's insanity, Janie thought. Perhaps I'm trapped in here with this horrible idea, and I'll never get out. After a while, people will notice, and they'll lock up my body the way insanity has locked up my mind. She discovered that school had ended. Her body had gone to her locker, taken the right books, put on her jacket, remembered the gym uniform that had to be washed, said goodbye to friends and foe. But slowly, like someone trying to avoid the muddy parts in the grass, her small body seemed to thicken, as if she had real iron in her blood and weighed several tons. The bus had left before she even arrived in the lobby. All the buses had left. It was pouring rain. The golden, gaudy blue October had vanished and turned black and thundering. The sky at its richest, full of rage, ready to hit someone. It threw the rain against the pavement and ripped the leaves from the sugar maples. A car headed for her. She watched the car, realizing it was going to run her over, that somehow, although she was on the sidewalk, the car was aimed for her. Perhaps I should move, she thought, but nothing happened to her legs. They stayed there, holding her color-wheeled brain in place, waiting to get run over. Get in quick, said Reeve. Get in before you get any wetter. She had recognized neither him nor his jeep. He had pulled the jeep almost over her toes. The outside rearview mirror brushed the buttons on her jeans jacket. Janie got in slowly. This is fun, she thought. Now I'm paralyzed and blind, too. Mind you, what Janie is experiencing, by the way, is disassociation due to shock. She is disconnected between her mind and body due to literal shock about her discovery. And if you're like, what is disassociation? Disassociation this can obviously be broken down into further like derealization, depersonalization, which are two mental health disorders. Dissociation is a part of other mental health concerns, but it is when you feel disconnected from your mind and your body. It can appear in a multitude of ways and can also happen to you as a result of trauma, like PTSD, and or select incidents, like what Janie is experiencing right now. Double kidnapping. I think he's just taking her home. Reeve said, let's ride down by the water, see if the tide is up over the road. Reeve loved floods. 2 years ago, there had been such a wonderful flood. The families on the beach roads had to be rescued by the National Guard. Reeve had begged his parents to buy waterfront property so they could be in place for the next flood. They had uncooperatively said that they liked it better a mile away on the top of a hill. But Reeve kept an old battered canoe ready in the garage in case there would be another opportunity to paddle down the middle of the street. A deluge like this, said Reeve happily, a true Noah's Ark type rain, you should have some decent flooding. Janie nodded and turned the hot air vents in her direction to dry her clothes. Her thick red hair sprang up like a new permanent from the wedding it had taken. I realized they're trying to say, oh, I guess that's what perm stands for. Permanent. I just thought about that right now as I'm reading it. I'm like, permanent? I've never thought about that. Oh, I guess. But like a perm isn't permanent, but I guess. For some people, I guess it is. I just never thought about that. Also, thank you for the hydrate. Thank you. I am very full, but I will have a teeny tiny sip of water. like a hair perm. That's what she was saying. Like her hair springed up like a new permanent, like a new perm. I've just never heard it called permanent before. May I borrow your penknife? She said. Sure. He detached the knife from his belt loop while she steered the Jeep. Then, she couldn't get the blade to come off without breaking off a fingernail. Reeve stopped at a red light and opened the penknife for her. Janie took the empty milk carton out of her book bag. She rinsed it out at the girls' bathroom between 5th and 6th periods. She slit the carton open, carefully flattened it out, and then she opened her 3-ring blue cloth English notebook, which she had clipped on the inner front cover, and clipped the flat carton so the photograph did not show. All Reeve could read was the logo: Flower Dairy, your local milk producer, serving all communities on the shoreline. That's an interesting hobby, observed Reeve. You don't find too many milk carton collectors. Janie thought about Pete's explanation. These so-called kidnappings are really just divorces, where one parent takes the child away and doesn't tell the other parent where they've gone. Does that mean, she thought, that either my mother or my father is not my mother or my father? That somewhere out there, a real mother or father who has wondered for 12 years where I am. Reeve was staring out at the Atlantic Ocean, where the storm was hurling water and sand on the unprotected beaches. Reeve was handsomer than the rest of his family, yet there was a very strong resemblance among them. People could actually recognize Reeve by the smile that so much resembled his brother's, and the ruddy cheeks that were a trademark of his sister's. Now, he was making terrible faces, flexing his forehead and lips and nose like silly putty because high tide had not managed to go over the road. Reeve turned the Jeep into the scenic overlook, better known among teenagers as the sexual overlook, because at night you can go there and watch couples in action. To the east stretched the ocean, and to the west, barely protected by thin spits of sand and mud, was the harbor, where the wind jostled boats against the waves. Wharves? I actually don't know what that word is. Wharves? Don't know what that word is. The boatyard was filled with marina employees taking boats out of the water for winter storage. Even over the pounding of the waves. Yeah, they didn't mean waves. Don't know what that word was. Of the waves and rain, Janie could hear a strange sort of smacking applause. No, that's not what that is. There's a W in there. It looks like waves, but there's a W and there's like an H, like an R. I could just Google it and then look an R. Oh. Wharfs. It's like the plural of wharf. I've just never seen it before. I've just never seen that before, which is to mean a series of docks where boats are stationed. I was like, we have technology. I can just Google it. I'm just choosing not to. Not rigging hardware. No waves against docks. What's that noise? She said. At least I'm not deaf, she thought. Flags, said Reeve. American flags everywhere on the docks, at the fuel pumps, on the boats, each clapped in the fierce wind like a cloth maniac. I'm sort of like a flag, said Reeve. Red, white, and blue? No. a big banner flapping in the wind. You read dumb, says the flag. My sisters, my brother, my parents, they don't say it out loud, but they kind of line up at my college application forms next to my grades and my SATs. And the old flag waves. You're dumb. You're not dumb, said Janie, although he was. She adored Reeve, but brains would round him out a bit. My parents haven't taken me to see any college campuses, said Reeve, nor arranged any interviews. Nothing. For Megan and Lizzie and Todd, we spent a year apiece visiting and pondering and drawing up lists and pros and cons. With me, they've already given up. They don't yell at me anymore. You know what my mother said to your mother? No, said Janie, although she did. Her mother repeated it, of course. Or, is she my mother? Thought Janie. Is she Daddy's second wife? Did they steal me from my real mother? Or is it Daddy who's somebody else? Maybe they're not even married. Maybe they just. Your mother said to my mother, at least you can be proud of Megan, Lizzie, and Todd. And then my mother said, that's true. 3 out of 4 isn't bad. Nobody else in my family has red hair, thought Janie. I don't laugh like Mother and Daddy. My fingernails aren't shaped like theirs. That's terrible, she said to Reeve. They're being rotten, writing you off like that. I'll be lucky to get into community college, said Reeve. He fiddled with the radio dials and the heater knobs, flicked the emergency blinkers on and off, and pawed through the cassettes he had in the Jeep. At least you have a Jeep to commute in, said Janie. But this was not a comfort to Reeve, who wanted to be brilliant, outstanding, impressive, and memorable like his brother and sisters. She opened her notebook. She tilted it and peered at the back of the milk carton. It was still on there. It was still her on there. She had not allowed herself to read the name under the photograph. Now she read it. Jeannie Spring. Her brain stopped being a color wheel and became an echo chamber. Jeannie Spring, Jeannie Spring, Jeannie Spring, Jeannie. What have you gotten there? Teased Reeve. He reached for the notebook to see what forbidden article was stashed in it, and Janie jerked back. No, Reeve, don't, she said urgently. And he was startled, pulling his hand back as if maybe it was a scorpion inside the English notebook. Thank you for the Redamon check, the hydrate, and they had pats. I am so thirsty. I am not thirsty, sorry. I'm so full. I don't think I could take any more. I'm like actually so full. I don't think I can take any more water. I'm just like basically like I'm taking like the tiniest bit just for like the sound, to be honest. Because I'm very full. I don't want to be sick. Reeve left the scenic overlook so fast they hydroplaned over the puddles. Then he gnashed the gears, roaring forward along the narrow beach-wet road, skidding profusely. He took each gear up to the highest RPM so the motor screamed. He jerked left into the traffic on Route 1. Like a warrior, he battled the cars and the rain, pedal to the metal, taking off from each stop sign like a chariot racer. Janie touched her seatbelt and said nothing. She would feel that way too, if she were Reeve. While he was passing in a no passing zone, Janie turned the milk carton over again. The little girl's name and birth date, the 800 number to call if you recognized her, the place from which she vanished in New Jersey. None of it meant a thing to Janie. I've always felt a year younger than Sarah Charlotte and Adair, thought Janie. And if that's my birthday, I am a year younger. Not old enough to get my driver's license after all. But maybe it was too ridiculous. She had a family, a perfectly normal family. They loved her. She loved them. I don't feel like going home yet. Do you? Said Reeve. He spoke in the voice people use when you have to agree or walk home. Besides, she did agree. She had hardly ever agreed with anything more. Let's get ice cream, said Reeve. He jerked the wheel hard, turned across traffic with far too little time, and just barely missed getting a pickup truck through the side of his Jeep. The trucker rightly leaned on his horn. Janie gave him an apologetic smile and the town wave. The trucker grinned at Janie. She shook her red hair at him, and the guy grinned even wider. Perhaps I'm fascinating, after all, she thought. That trucker forgave Reeve because I tossed my hair. He'd believe me if I said my name was Jane Johnstone. I don't have any money, she told Reeve, and I can't have ice cream. But what if my name is Janie Spring? She thought. I'll pay. Anyway, I saw you drinking milk for lunch. You've already broken the rules. He saw me drinking Sarah Charlotte's milk, she thought, which I drank long after he waved. So he looked back, checked me out a second time. They went to a booth, passing two groups of teenagers she knew by sight but not by name. All eyes landed on Reeve with Janie and drew conclusions. Janie was not sure she liked this. It was not a date. Poor Reeve was just having to admit he was dumb. Janie was his trusty Rusty next-door neighbor. Reeve ordered 2 hot fudge sundaes on 1 scoop, each of vanilla and chocolate mint. For years, when they were little kids going shopping with their mothers, this had been Janie's order. She had changed preferences since the last time she had ice cream with Reeve, up till the lactose intolerance discovery. She had ordered vanilla with butterscotch topping. She said nothing. She was quite touched that Reeve remembered. Reeve talked about first quarter grades, which were coming up in only a few weeks. He talked about the horror of failing his senior year, of having to go to a lousy college when Megan, Lizzie, and Todd went to such winners. The horror of all school at all times. The waitress brought the sundaes much more quickly than usual, and Janie thanked her. She turned to look at her sundae. The world shifted. Friendly ice cream seemed to spin all around her, all its flavors, all its booths, tilting and screaming. She was sitting with someone else, sitting on a high stool, a stool that swiveled. She was turning herself slowly and carefully by holding onto the counter. Her feet did not touch the footrest. She was little. She was admiring her white cotton socks as she turned because they had a little strip of lace. A woman was next to her, not swiveling, long, straight hair cascading down the woman's back. So pretty, Janie had to touch it. The woman kept her hand in the air behind Janie's back, so she wouldn't tip off the spinning stool. Janie was having a sundae with whipped cream on it, eating the cherry off her sundae first, and then one off the woman's sundae. They were laughing. Janie was little. The woman hugged her, swung her around as the stool had swung. There was a hot wind. They were outside now, in a huge parking lot, maybe the biggest parking lot in the world. Her dress, white with tiny dark dots, blue in the air. "Janie?" said Reeve. "Are you all right?" Janie's mouth was dry, her hands icy. She was shivering all over. She could feel the tiny table shaking from her shivers. Reeve was frightened. "Are you getting the flu?" he said. He put his hand out as if to stop her from crossing some terrible road. "You're not seriously allergic to milk, are you? I mean, is your throat going to close up or your heart stop?" She was aware that he was calling her, raising his voice that people were looking. "Janie, Janie, are you okay?" His hand took hers, and to her frozen fingers, his hand felt like a furnace, as if he were going to scorch her. "I'm fine," she said, dizzy. She had always had control over her daydreams, like the daydreams of denim and lace in which she had designed every detail to suit herself. She never had a daydream that dreamed itself, like nightmares that crawled out of her brain like a creature of the dark, a daymare. Janie shuddered. "I'd better not eat the sundae," she said. Already the daymare was fading, leaving her flesh like jelly, but no pictures to remember it by. Woman, she thought dimly, stool, dress, hot wind. It must be, thought Janie, that my life is boring. Deep down, I must be as angry over the boredom as Reeve is over being dumb. He drives like a maniac to feel better, and I fall into manic daydreams. My parents are my parents. Nobody kidnapped me. I don't really remember the dress." Reeve called to the waitress. "Could we have these to go?" He pointed at Janie. "She doesn't feel well." "They'll be messy," said the waitress doubtfully. The top will be the bottom." "Tell me about it," thought Janie. Chapter 3. Chapter 3. Well, I'm thinking Inu that she got kidnapped that day because she was wearing the exact same dress, like the dress with the dots on it. So I'm thinking that she got kidnapped that day, which is why the ice cream took her back. Because she was eating ice cream with her actual mom. And then when she ate ice cream, it like reminded her, like, oh snap, like now that she's seen the dress, like it's all like piecing itself back together again. Because like she's like, oh, it's the biggest parking lot ever. I'm like, so you got kidnapped at the parking lot of New Jersey. Like, that's what I'm thinking. But we don't know. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know. I'm like really enjoying this so far. Thoroughly enjoying. Thoroughly enjoying. So I'm like, we need to talk to the parents. I need her to go home. I need her to go home. I need her to go home. Like I mean, obviously, I don't think Janie's gonna be like, did you kidnap me? Did you? But like, isn't that crazy? Like, isn't that so crazy? Like, you can just be like, they'll just treat you like normal. Like, they really thought they got away with it for 12 years. That's so crazy. And they probably would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for the milk carton. The milk carton that just so happened to be in Janie's lunch, not even Janie's lunch, it was in her best friend's lunch. And she just wanted to drink it. If she decided that she was just going to stick to her cranberry juice, she never would have seen it. Sometimes that's all it takes. That's why they make those things. Not the milk cartons. I don't think they do milk cartons anymore. Maybe in like small towns. That's why they print out those things, or they send out the Amber Alerts and stuff like that, because all it takes is one person, right? One person to be like, that kind of looks a little bit familiar, or I think that looks like somebody that I know. I want to say more, but honestly, I really just want to get into it. Like, I'm so curious as to what's going to happen next, so I got to get into this chapter. So, chapter 3. Also, let me check. How long have we been here? Probably like an hour, right? Oh, yeah, we're good. We're still good on time. Yeah, that's exactly why they do it. Okay, yeah, we're so good. Oof. I have to read as much as possible because, like, the next time that I'm gonna do another stream is like next week, and like, I really want to like get through as much of the book as I can. I don't want to wait. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be torture to wait until next week for me to find out what happens next. So I have to really get through this. All right, chapter 3. There were no cars in the driveway. Her father couldn't be coaching soccer in this weather, so he would be pulling in any moment now. Her mother must be at the hospital. What day was this? She volunteered 2 days a week. The Johnsons' driveway was separated from Reeves by a thin row of shrubs over which Megan, Lizzie, Todd, and now Reeve continually backed. Only hours ago, Janie had thought joyously of the day too when she learning reverse would flatten a few bushes. You sure you'll be all right? Said Reeve. I could ask Mom to go over and sit with you. Please, said Janie, meaning no. And they both laughed. When Reeve's mother took care of a person, she took serious care. Bed rest, chicken soup, and pillow fluffing. On school nurse forms, Janie had always put Reeve's mother to phone in an emergency, and Reeve has always put Janie's mother. Reeve's mother always sat with Janie, rubbing her back, reading chapters from long books. Janie had to be in the mood for all that loving kindness. More often, when she was sick, she just wanted to be alone, in the silence, and in the nest of her bed. How can I be kidnapped? Thought Janie. I don't even have neighbors who understand evil, let alone parents. She got out of the Jeep and dashed through the rain, putting her key in the side door. This opened onto a landing on the stairs between the cellar and the kitchen. Down in the cellar, next to the gleaming white washer and dryer, her folded jeans were stacked up. I don't want to say that her parents are evil because they have a cellar, but maybe her parents are evil because they have a cellar. I know you can have a cellar for pretty innocuous reasons, but I just feel like that's part of it. Up in the kitchen lay a pile of mail, an overflowing brown bag marked for the Salvation Army, and the breakfast dishes. She scraped the dishes and loaded the dishwasher. It wasn't full enough to run. There was a note on the refrigerator in her mother's pretty script. Darling, don't forget class tonight. Home by supper. Love, Mommy. Janie hadn't called Mother Mommy in years, though she still called her father Daddy. Class, she thought, trying to make sense of that reminder. She walked through the house, touching. Same furniture. Her mother liked deep, intense colors. The sofa and chairs were a blue so dark and rich They invited you like a deep sea to dive in. In the dining room, 2 walls were glass and one was bright red. The only decoration was an enormous framed color photograph of Janie, age 12, bridesmaid for a wedding. She was giggling in the picture, half bent over trying to hold her tiara of flowers as it slid off her red hair. Janie disliked that portrait. She hadn't gotten her braces yet, and the uneven teeth seemed to take over the entire picture. But her parents loved it. "How you adored that long dress," they would say, smiling into the photograph's eyes as if it were alive. "How proud you were, being in the wedding party, dancing with the groom, staying up till dawn." Janie climbed the stairs to her room, passing by the ascending wall of photographs. Her parents disliked albums. They immortalized Janie on the stairs, at the beach, on skis, in a scout uniform, in her first dancing dress. Janie on their trip to the Grand Canyon, Janie in gymnastics, Janie at the middle school awards ceremony, Janie on the runway for the fashion show the hospital sponsored as a benefit. "I'm sick," she thought. "Deranged. I'm imagining they kidnapped me. I mean, talk about proof of a loving family, from the folded laundry to the refrigerator note." She remembered what the class was. Her mother had decided that she and Janie needed an activity to share. She'd picked, of all things, cake decorating. In spite of their past record at arts and crafts, the failed needlepoint pillows, the abandoned quilt tops, the unfinished knitting, her mother was convinced that she and Janie could be like the rest of the world and do something creative with their hands. The only thing Janie liked to do with her hands was put nail polish on them and dial phone numbers. Phone numbers. On the milk carton was a toll-free 800 number to call. "If you have seen this child." Janie froze 3 steps from the top, turning her head slowly, like a patient becoming paralyzed, neck stiffening forever. She forced her eyes to search among the photographs. There were no baby pictures. She had asked why before. "Because they never got around to buying a camera till Janie was 5, said her parents. But you didn't need to own your own camera for baby photographs. Every single store that sold baby clothes, from Sears to Bloomingdale's, from high fashion Todd to Toys R Us, had photographers and special portrait prices. Cheney Spring, taken from a shopping center in New Jersey at age 3. But I should remember, thought Janie. 3 years old is the time to have memories. It's not as if Janie Spring was 3 months old. Yeah, I know, I saw Toys R Us. I was like, Toys R Us? But, I mean, Sears. What is, like, the new Sears? I guess, like, JCPenney. But not really, because, like, Sears, you could have, like, bought a house at Sears. You know what I mean? You could buy anything you want at Sears. You can't do that at JCPenney. She entered her room. It was the largest bedroom in the house. Since her parents each had a small study, they had taken the little bedroom and given her the spacious master bedroom. I'm gonna be honest, this is how I know Janie was kidnapped. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I feel like they're trying to juke me right now. I feel like they're trying to juke me, like, they're trying to give me plausible deniability, but, like, girl, the fact that your parents gave you the master bedroom, that lets you know that you were kidnapped for real. Like, you were really kidnapped. Cause ain't no parent giving their kid the master bedroom. You know, it's different if you have just like one bedroom, right? And you give your kid the bedroom, but like if you can afford a two-bedroom, no parent is ever giving their kid the master bedroom. That's insanity. That's how I know for a fact she was kidnapped. The parents were trying to keep her complacent. They're like, "Oh yeah, give her the biggest bedroom. She'll never bring this shit up." She'll never bring that shit up at all. Yeah, who gives their kid the master bedroom? Like, what? And I'm not saying, like, obviously any family can do whatever they want, but it's like, girl, I remember one time I joked about that with my parent, and they literally looked at me like I brought a gun into the house. I was like, I'm just kidding. Like, when we, like, years ago, like, when I was like, I mean, this was like decades ago, like, when I was like a baby, and we had moved into what now is like our family home. Before we had bought it, we were like touring the place, and I had joked that, like, oh, the master bedroom's gonna be mine. And I had a 15-minute lecture about that. I had like such a long lecture for that joke. They were like, "Do you know how much I sacrifice?" They were like, "Do you know how much I sacrifice?" Like, what are you talking about? Like, why would you have a bathroom inside of your room? Like, you're never gonna leave your room. Da 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 da. I was like, oh my god, I'm just joking. I was just joking. I was just joking. They were like, yeah, that better have been a joke. I was like, it was just a joke. Oh my god. I keep forgetting, like, I can't tell jokes in front of my African parent. Like, they don't understand. The only jokes can be told by them, not by me. This is how I know Janie was really kidnapped, because this is insanity. Janie had a habit of leaping into hobbies with tremendous enthusiasm for a few months and then abandoning them forever. The walls and shelves were testimony to lost interests. There was a gymnastics display when she had fallen in love with tumbling. There were horseback riding ribbons from fourth grade when she practically lived at the stable. There was the music when she intended to be the world's foremost flutist. The last piece she had ever practiced still lay open on the pretty little music stand her parents had bought her for Christmas that year. Um, I'm just gonna diagnose Janie. You have ADHD. I'm just gonna hit you with that, Janie. You have ADHD. You should get that diagnosed. You need medication. You need medication. Satan really wanted that separate bathroom, and they deserve that separate bathroom. Listen, I get it. I mean, they're the one paying all the bills. They get it. I understand. And Janie, though, has ADHD. Like, actually, this is classic ADHD. She needs to be on Zoloft. Lexapro, something. I know they're not going to take her to no fucking doctor. I'm sure. I'm sure they aren't going to take her to no doctor. They'd be like, where'd this ADHD come from? Where did this neurodivergence come from? Clearly, it didn't come from you two. That's suspicious. They get found out in 2 business days, most definitely. Janie did not share her mother's adoration of fierce, intense blues and reds. When she turned 14, they had decorated the room by Janie's colors: ivory, pale rose, and faded lavender. The bedspread Janie had chosen was lace panels, all different shades and textures of white. It was too fragile to sit on. She folded the lace into a tube at the bottom of her bed and laid down on the plain dark rose wool blanket beneath it. She was as rigid as a board. The mattress sank down while Janie's spine remained stiff. She ordered her muscles to relax, forcing, first, her shoulders to go limp, then her neck, and her jaw. At last, she had sagged into the corridors of the contours, the mattress. Now, she tried to look inside her brain, to dip through her memory as if it were a card catalog at a library. Nothing. And yet, memory felt oddly bright, not dark, not scary or mysterious, light, easy, good. There's someone else down there, thought Janie. She shuddered violently, picturing another tiny little girl living at the bottom of her body, begging to get out. Janie wet her lips. The silence of the house was suddenly unbearable. She leapt from the bed and pounded down the stairs, flung open the side door, and ran over to the Shields' house. They were too close friends with the Shields to bother much with knocking. She opened the door and yelled, "Hello?" and went on in. Miss Shields was watching Lassie. "There's probably something wrong with me," remarked Reeve's mother, "but I adore all these black and white reruns. They're so safe." Safe, thought Janie. "It's not safe," said Reeve, coming into the room. He had his physics lab book with him. The sight of Reeve with an academic text in his hand startled Janie. Timmy and Lassie are always saving somebody from runaway trains or bottomless swamps or forest fires. "Ah, but the kitchen, Mrs. Shields," said Mrs. Shields. "Nothing ever goes wrong in the kitchen. Have a chocolate chip cookie, dear," she said to Janie. "Don't," advised Reeve. She put icky things like oatmeal and bran into the cookies. "Timmy," he told his mother, referring to Lassie's owner, "would never have to gag down oatmeal and bran in his cookies." Nevertheless, Reeve took several of the largest cookies and flung himself into a chair. He was one of those boys who don't simply sit, they collapse, snapping the legs off chairs and breaking the backs of couches. Janie and his mother waited for Reeve to fall on through the floor, but the chair held him once more. "Mrs. Shields," said Janie, How long have you lived here?" "Oh, darling, I'm that, Rava Avis, a native. I was born here. I mean in this house. 28 years. Bought it when we were married." "Do you remember when we moved here?" "I certainly do. You were the most adorable 5-year-old who ever drew breath on Romney Road, and your mother was the strictest parent. I shaped up once she moved in, let me tell you." Mrs. Shields smiled, a private smile of memories kept within to warm herself by. "Why was she so strict?" said Janie. She had bitten off some cookie and was now unable to chew it. Little bits of dough and bran lay on her tongue and threatened to choke her. "Because you were so bad," said Reeve immediately. He and his mother laughed. "No, Janie was always sweet, good, obedient, and courteous," said Mrs. Shields. I used to yearn for a journey among my wild floor animals. Why was I such a goody-goody? Thought Janie. Was I afraid? If they stole me, I should have been afraid of them, not the rest of the world. Seriously, said Janie. Mrs. Shield watched Lassie. Timmy's mother was wearing an apron, an old television. They always had on aprons. Janie fell into another nightmare by daylight. Her mind plummeted down into the nightmare the way Reeves's muscular body had fallen onto the upholstery. Apron. It was white, heavy, almost as heavy as canvas. It had a bib. Her mother kept little hard candies in one pocket, and Janie could stretch up and reach her baby hand into the pocket to take out one candy with a cellophane wrapper that crinkled. But my mother doesn't wear aprons, thought Janie. Life isn't like that now, said Mrs. Shield sadly. Too many dreadful possibilities out there, hardly any lassies to save you. Mothers have nightmares about their babies, Janie, from drowning in a neighbor's swimming pool to snapping the spine playing football. I think all mothers fear that one dreadful accident, when the child dashes out in front of a truck, when some maniac snatches the child during the 1 second the mother isn't looking. Your mother had always felt that way, Janie. She was always afraid. For what reason? Said Janie. She had forced herself to swallow the dead cookie in her mouth. Reeve becoming a host, which was almost as unthinkable as Reeve becoming a scholar, handed her a Coke. What mother ever needed a reason? Said Mrs. Shields. I suppose because you were the only child. I had 3 earlier ones to take out my unreasonable fears on. Old Reeve here, I didn't worry about him much because I'd used up so much worry on the others. She and Reeve began a teasing verbal battle about how much worry he had caused her in his 17 years, and was likely to cause in the next 17. Janie stayed till the end of Lassie. The final scene was in the kitchen. Timmy, of course, had a glass of milk. Nobody in old television gave their kids soda. It ended happily ever after, with hugs all around and a barking collie. Oh my goodness, I'm late, cried her mother, throwing open the front door. Her mother never came in the side door. She liked to look around the front hall, with its graceful mirrors and slender, elegant furniture, and into the beautiful living room she had designed. Janie, by any wonderful chance, did you start supper? We have our cake decorating class tonight. We've got to leave in 30 minutes. What's in the freezer? Anything we can microwave? Did you do your homework? How was school? She gave Janie a big hug and a row of kisses down her cheek towards her throat. Daddy home yet? No. Janie stared at her mother. Tried to imagine her mother as a kidnapper, rushing into shopping malls and jerking little kids off soda fountain stools. But her mother was elegant, formal. She could imagine her mother raising funds for a scholarship for this little girl, but actually snatching her. Mother liked to conduct her meetings properly, with much consulting of formal rules of order. Oh dear. I hate it when we leave in the evening without seeing him. I hate not having dinner together. I read the other day that most families in America now have separate meals. Each one just grabs a bite on the run, a pizza here, a frozen Weight Watchers casserole there. I think that's so sad. Families no longer sitting down together every evening. And here we are, just like all the rest. I hate being like all the rest. Well, you're not, thought Janie. You're a kidnapper. It's not funny. It's not funny. It's a little funny. It's not funny. It's not funny. She's like, yeah, this freaky ass. This woman, she's a kidnapper. Her mother was beautifully dressed. She hung up her crimson wool coat and slipped off her high, slim heels. Her feet were long and very narrow. Finding shoes was a real trial. Janie's feet were short and wide. There's nothing in me that's like her, thought Janie. Is it because I have none of her genes? Is it because she's not my mother? She forced herself to think of Adair Odell, who was so sleek. Adair's mother was a fat, messy woman whose offspring you would expect to be total rugrats. So lots of times kids didn't resemble their parents. It meant nothing. Her father charged in the side door, full of energy from soccer. What a team, he said. He launched his first bear hug at his wife, and Janie would normally have run up for hers, but she found herself edging out of reach. What a season. I love my kids. They try so hard. We practice in the school gym because of the rain. Can't stand that stupid principal they have down there. Good janitor, though. Big help. Can't wait for the next game. You have so much potential this year. Why? Why are we microwaving pizza? Where are you guys going? Don't I even get to talk to my girl? He pretended to kick soccer balls around Janie's ankle. I'm be honest, I think they did it. I know I keep saying that, but I'm like, I really think they did it. Like, I can't tell if she's like trying to juke me. Like, Carolyn, are you trying to juke me? Because I think they did it. Like, I really do think they did it. Because, like, they're too normal. Like, they're a little bit too normal. Like, it is weird. Like, and I say this with like peace and love, but I am, I am in the medical field. And we were talking about this last week, Saturday. But like, I've had many times with parents, and it's always the parents that seem the most normal that try to put on basically like a front for me that end up being the ones that I have to report every single time. It's always the ones who act like sitcom parents where I'm like, something's wrong. I'm like, something's wrong here, something's wrong here. And I'm not saying that, like, parents have to be like yelling at their kids or something like that, but you feel it. It's like something is like seriously wrong here. Because, like, I'm not saying that people don't act like sitcoms, they do, but they're in a normal family, there is some sort of like, you know, like unease. Somebody's yelling at somebody, the kid kind of like hates the parents or something like that. Like, kid is kind of embarrassed by the parents. Maybe like parents are teasing the kid or something like that. Like something that feels kind of normal. I don't know. Every single time I have at least dealt with like parents that have been like call me, I'm like, oh yeah, they're hiding something from me. It's something they're hiding from me every single time. Mm-hmm. Daddy, stop it, she said. How can I embarrass you when there's nobody around to see? He countered. Tell you what, I promise to do this all in front of your friends one day, just for comparison's sake. Thanks, said Janie. Cake decorating, explained her mother. Do you think it's the right sort of class for somebody as weight obsessed as you are? Said her father. I won't eat any of it, said her mother virtuously. Sure, said her father. Listen, you two scarf down those awful frozen jobs. I'll make myself a real dinner after shower. Love ya. Have fun. Bring me some cake. I want the most frosting. He charged up one stairs. They talk more than I do, thought Janie. They spout conversation continuously, both of them. I have more listening in me than talking. And you know what? Like, I do think, I know this might sound like an exaggeration, but again, like, this is my jam. Like, I study, like, the brain. I study, like, neurodivergence. Like, this is literally, like, my jam. I know it does happen sometimes where, like, the parents are one way and the kid turns out the entire other way, right? Maybe like parents are introverts, kid is like a complete extrovert. But there's always like some sort of commonality, within like kid and parent because the kid was raised by the parent, right? So there's always something that connects the two. If you notice that there's nothing that connects you to your, like literally nothing that connects you to your parents, that is a red flag. That is a red flag. Like something connects you to your parents, whether you like it or not. It doesn't have to be something that you like, right? Like, for example, like, I never thought this was gonna happen to me, but like my feet, when I'm extremely tired, my feet like swell up. Like, right now, I know my feet are swelling up because I've had a really, really long day. And that's something that like I inherited from my parent because the exact same thing happens to them. They wear like compression socks. So I'm like, dang, I'm gonna have that when I'm older. I mean, I'm already old, but so it's already happening to me, but it's been happening to me. I don't know why I'm saying it like I'm not old now, but like, older, when I get to like their age, I'll be wearing like them compression socks all the time. Um, but like there's something that connects you to your parents and in the form of like your body presentation, in the form of like outward presentation, like something connects you to your parents. So it is a red flag that like she's like, dang, like I don't look like my parents. I'm not as like extroverted as my parents. Like there are no baby pictures. The no baby pictures in the house is absolutely insanity. Like I'm sorry. That has never happened in the history of anything. I could understand it if it was like, oh, maybe if there were like 6 kids in the household, like maybe one of them, like they had a year for like one of the kids where like maybe they don't have as many baby pictures. But like for an only child to not have baby pictures, only child to not have baby pictures, that's their one and only, and they gave their one and only the master bedroom. You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. You never gave birth to that kid. Show me the placenta. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. The class was at the Y. The familiar hot chlorine and sweat smell at the pool met their noses. Remember your swim team? Said her mother. I was so glad you lost interest in swimming. There I'd sit with all the other mothers waiting for hours till your heat came up. And then I couldn't even tell which one of you you were, and when it was over in 3 minutes anyhow. Ugh. At least when you took up riding, it was more fun. Why don't you go back to riding? I would have if I'd known the alternative was cake decorating, said Janie. Mom, I'm dreading this. We've bombed out on watercolor, decoupage. Well, you couldn't eat any of those. The taste tests will make the difference. They took the stairs to the kitchen. The Y ran a soup kitchen by day, where her mother had not yet volunteered, but surely would be before long. But in the evenings, the kitchen was available to cooking classes. Japanese, Chinese, Vietnamese, and French cooking each had a night. Cake decorating seemed backward and untrendy next to those cuisines. Hey, knock that off. Desserts are cool. Think of all the calories. That's a dangerous hobby, Mom. Besides, you told Daddy you weren't going to eat any. I lied. Janie and her mother burst into giggles. There were 9 in the class. Janie was the only one under 40, and the only one not watching her pounds. I'm going to like this, whispered her mother. Next to you, I'm the skinniest person here. They leaned on they learned on cupboard, not cakes. Okay, but like even in like the 90s, right? Like you would still go to like, as Janie was saying, like you would go to like Sears and do like a family photo. Like my family has a ton of those photos. Like my family has a ton of those photos, and it's not because they're African and every African household needs a family portrait. But like my parent was obsessed with taking us to go get a family portrait or to go get like baby pictures. Like I have so many baby pictures. I have so many baby pictures. Like so many, so many, so many. Like because they had because they had like such a grand time taking me to go to fucking Sears or something, or go to like JC Penney. I don't even know. Yeah, I don't even know where they went. I don't know. One of those places, just so they can see me in like different outfits or something like that. You're telling me these rich parents, because they have a nice house, we just talked about their house. They have a nice house, front yard, driveway, backyard, grass in the driveway, glass in the living room. They never went to Sears. They didn't go to Sears not one time to go and get the illustrious package for their one kid. They only have one kid. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, this just don't make no sense. This just don't make no sense. They learned on cardboard. Oh yeah, those photo packages. I actually want to go. I don't know where they offer those now, but I want to go. I wanted to go with like my friends or something and us do like those cringy family photos, but I don't think any of them want to do it with me, even though I think it's an amazing idea. I think it's an amazing idea. They learned on cardboard, not cakes. They piped icing out of tubes, cloth bags, and paper cones. They used star tips and tube tips for flowers and ribbons. Janie could not keep the pressure on her tube even, so that for every attractive flower, she had a pitiful plop of icing instead. Yours looks like a very faded bouquet, remarked her mother. The instructor demonstrated flowers yet again. As Jamie leaned forward to see the technique, she fell hideously into another daymare. The conscious part of her thought, am I falling into the cake? Will I be a pitiful fool in front of these women, my face covered in icing? The daymare was white. White flowers, white tipped cream, white ice cream. The pretty woman, the swirling stool at the counter, and white shoes. Tiny, shiny, white shoes. We were shoe shopping, thought Janie. But who is we? Who am I? Now you try, said the instructor, putting the tube in her hand. Janie struggled to make a flower, but there was no white icing in the tube. There was a thin line of blue gel instead. She stared at the demonstration cake and saw that while she had been lost in a dreadful white dream, they had changed from flowers to writing. Her hand shook. She tried to write happy birthday. What was the birth date on the carton, she thought. When was Jenny Spring's birthday? Is it mine? Chapter 4. I think these rich bitches, they stole that fucking kid. I think these rich bitches stole that fucking kid. That poor woman was shoe shopping and getting ice cream with her daughter, and they snatched her up. They snatched up that little girl. Snatched that girl up. My parent, when I was a baby, used to be so paranoid about that as well, to be honest. They used to be so utterly paranoid about baby snatchers. They would tie me They would tie me to their back, you know, like the traditional, I guess like a lot of regions do this, a lot of like cultures do this, like where you tie the baby to your back. They would do that. They would strap me to their back because they were like, ain't nobody taking me from, ain't nobody taking you from me. Yeah, they'd swaddle me, they'd get me strapped up. And then when they had to be on like public transport, they would strap me to the front. They would strap me like tight to the front, like I was basically just living in their boobies. And they love telling me the story. I don't know why. They say this like every like 3 months. They love telling me. They're like, yeah, I was so afraid you were gonna get kidnapped. I had to strap you because everybody said you were like really cute. So I just thought you were gonna get kidnapped if I didn't strap you. I'm like, why do you keep telling me this? Why do you keep telling me this? Stop telling me that. Like, it sounds like, oh no. Maybe did you steal me? Oh no, why are you telling me this? Sounds like you're trying to convince me of something. I don't know. No, literally. Yeah, my parent does like, this is not funny, by the way, but like, you know, this is how I know that my parent is actually my parent because they love telling a joke that's not funny. Um, for the past, I can't even say, let me think about this. I think they recently stopped doing this, but I swear to you, for the past 6 years, their favorite running joke is that I am adopted. Their favorite running joke is that I am adopted and that also they have no idea who I am. And it's not funny because they do this thing in public, right? So we'll be in public and then suddenly they will go out loud at a very intense volume. They'll go, "Who are you? I don't know who you are. Stop following me." And I'm like, "That's not funny." That's I'm like, that is not funny. People are going to have me arrested. They're going to think that I'm following you. Stop. Don't say that. Don't say that. And they just increase their volume. And they just keep increasing their volume. They're like, stop following me. I don't know who you are. I'm like, oh my God, stop. Stop. And this has been my life for the past 6 years. It's their favorite joke to tell. And it's even worse because, God forbid, we're by the car. Because their favorite thing to do, if I'm not already in the car, let's say they're inside the car and I'm not inside the car, they lock the doors and they go, oh my God, why are you trying to get into my car? Why are you trying to get into my car? Who are you? Why are you trying to get into my car? And I'm like, oh my God, let me inside the car. Stop. Let me inside the car. They'd be like, I have no idea who you are. Oh my God, there's a stranger trying to get inside my car. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get arrested. You can't do that. You cannot do that. But it was their favorite running joke, I swear to you, for the last 6 years. What the hell is wrong with them? I don't know. I don't know. I have told them that it's not funny, but they keep doing it. They think it's the funniest shit in the world. They think it's so fucking funny. I'm like, okay, so you want all these people. So you want all these people to think I'm like breaking into this fucking car? Is that what you want people to think? You want people to arrest me, huh? Is that what you think? And their response is like, well, if you went to jail, I would just get you out. I'm like, that's not funny. That's like not funny. Gotta stop doing that. I mean, like, it's not funny because it's happening to me. But, like, honestly, it is very funny. Like, it's not funny because it's happening to me. I can say that. But, like, on the outside looking in, it's absolutely hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. Like, if I had a kid, I would definitely do that. If I had a kid, I would just randomly look at them one day and be like, you know, you're adopted, right? They'd be like, what? I'm like, just kidding. Or maybe. Or maybe not. I don't know. It's funnier because I'm a grown adult. They didn't do this to me when I was a child, by the way. It's funnier because I'm a grown adult. I know for a fact I'm not adopted. I would do it to my adult child. If I had a child, I would do it to my adult child. I would not do it to my child if I had a child. But if my child is an adult, I'd be like, do you know you're adopted? Did you know that? Because I think it's funny. It's very funny. Because, like, all the evidence, the only reason why I'm like, I don't know, it doesn't really give me trauma or anything like that is because I know I'm not adopted. So I know for a fact I'm not adopted because there's too much evidence to say otherwise. There's way too much evidence to say otherwise. Plus, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think my parent would adopt me. Like, if I was, I don't know. I just don't think they would have picked me out. To be honest with you. So I feel pretty confident to say that they had me, you know? I feel pretty confident in that because I'm like, well, I think if, like, I was adopted, I don't think they would pick the one with all the mental health concerns and the disability, you know what I mean? I don't think my parent, my African parent, would be like, ah, yes, I want the one that's mentally ill and also gay. I don't think, I want that one. I don't think they would have said that. I think they would have picked, I think they would have picked someone else. So, I'm pretty confident. Maybe they liked the challenge. I don't think they did. I can confirm, as somebody who was raised by them, they did not like the challenge. I also have to get like a little bit naked because I'm like literally dying right now. I'm sorry. I'm like so sweaty. Yeah, I needed my titties to be out because, like, dude, I'm like sweating up a storm. Sweating up a storm. I might sleep naked. It's hot in here. It's like really hot in here for real. The VTuber part, you know, they don't really care about. I think there's like other issues. Like the mental health was like a big one. The mental health was a much bigger hurdle. You know, the VTubing they could not care less about, truthfully. They're like, what do you do online? They truly just don't understand it. So I don't even really explain it to them. They're like, I don't understand. You're talking to strangers? Like, I don't get it. I'm like, okay, it's fine. Just don't worry about it. Don't worry about it because if I tell my parent like I'm talking to strangers online, like as a VTuber, like they're just not gonna get it. So I just tell them that I make content related to art online. It's just that simple. And then they're like, oh yeah, you're doing that art thing. I'm like, yeah. If I told them I was talking to strangers online, I swear to you, I would be in a nunnery. Like, I swear to you. I would be shipped off back to Africa and I'd be in the nunnery even at my big age. So, strangers online. Oh, hell no. So, like, we're not even getting into any of that. Like, usually, like, when I get, like, gifts and stuff like that, like, when I got, like, my chair, for example. No, they literally would. Like, when I got my chair, for example, that was a donation. I just said I bought it, like, with my art money. It's really just that simple. Like, oh, okay. I bought it with, like, my art money, and they were like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I can't really say like, oh, a stranger bought it for me, and be like, who the fuck is this stranger that bought you this shit? What the hell? Like, they're not really gonna get how that works. So there's no point in me explaining it to them in a way that's gonna freak them out. You know what I mean? Never catch me talking to strangers online. Listen, I'll talk to strangers online all day, every day. Strangers online are so much better than people, to be honest. Sometimes IRL people, sometimes. Okay, wait, how long have I been streaming for? 2 hours? Okay, we're good, we're good, we're good. I think we can get another 2 chapters in, guys. I think we get another 2 chapters. Oh my god, it's crazy. We're not even halfway through this book yet. We're barely touching the book. We're barely touching this book. There's so much book left. So much book left. Oh my god. Hate to break it to you, I know. Well, I don't really see you, Inu, as a stranger. Well, you are a stranger, but like, you're a comforting stranger, you know? You're a stranger that I meet quite often. Drink water? I'm so full, man. I don't even want water. I would say that we're past acquaintances. I would say so. I would say so. Wow, the rigging is so good. Thank my model rigger, who is so fantastic, and who I paid a lot of money to do the rigging, so it better look good. Alright. Let's get to chapter 4. I'm gonna burp. I'm gonna burp. Wait. I was waiting for it to pass, but I think it's good. I think we're good. Okay. She slept soundly. If she dreamed, she did not remember when she woke. How strange, thought Janie. You'd think if anything would give me nightmares, it would be this. She got out of bed. Janie loved nightwear. Sometimes she was in a pajama mood and she had flannel pajamas, silk shorty pajamas, and sweet cotton and lace pajamas. Sometimes she preferred nightgowns. And she had everything from bridal terracotta type gowns to teddies. But recently, she had gotten into sweatshirt stuff. This new gown was soft, pearl gray, like a sweatshirt, like a sweatshirt to the floor. Yeah, this is the ASMR channel because I decided to split up my content. I decided to split up my content because, which I said at the beginning of stream, but like, yeah, it was too much on the main channel because then everybody, like people who came for ASMR, just kept asking me about it, and it was getting really fucking annoying because I don't always want to do ASMR, and I usually go through like 6 weeks of wanting to do ASMR, and then like I don't want to touch it for like 2 months. But then everybody was like, "Are you gonna do ASMR? Are you gonna do ASMR? Like, put on the ASMR." And it's like, oh my god, shut up. So I just decided to split it up. Also, it was ruining my analytics because like ASMR ended up being like my best category on my main channel, but then like the numbers were so skewed that it was like kind of ruining my chances of ever being partner on my main channel. So I just split it up anyway because I'd have like days where I'd have like 600 viewers. And then I would do like a gaming stream and then I'd have like 25 and then the number would be like way too skewed. The number would be like way too skewed on the average, so like it just messed up all my analytics. So I was like, I gotta do something about that. So now everything's separate. Everything's nice and split. Okay, wait. Now I gotta lock in again. Morning sun streamed in the window. It caught on the I skipped a line. I did. She peeled the gown up and over her head and stared at herself, naked in the mirror. She liked her body. Morning sun streamed in the window. It caught on the prisms Janie had been given for some elementary school science project and never taken down from their plastic strings. Many rainbows danced across the walls. She held out her hand and caught one in her palm. On the desk was a spray of reference books given to her over various Christmases and rarely touched. The dictionary was a huge dark blue Webster's. She looked up nightmare from Middle English, neat, night, and Anglo-Saxon mare, demon. Then she looked up daydream, a pleasant, dreamy thought. Below it, there actually was a word, daymare, defined as a nightmare taking place in the day. Demon, thought Janie. That's what it was. Some demon, some goblin or troll forcing a daymare on me. In school, the boys were particularly sophomoric. Janie adored mischief. If she could watch rather than participate, she was perfectly willing to cheer the boys on as long as she ran no risk of getting punished along with them. Pete had a huge roll of masking tape left over from an art project. All the kids were attracted by the tape. Everyone wanted to rip off a piece and tape things together. We could tape Sarah Charlotte's mouth shut, said Jason, laughing, ready to do it. Tape the trash barrel lids closed so no one could throw anything away, Adair suggested. Or tape Ellen Winter's braids to her back. Nobody liked Ellen Winter. Nobody had, nobody ever would. Poor thing would have nobody to untape her. No, let's tape Janie's hair down, cried Jason. At last, I'll have breathing space during lunch. Well, let's just wind the whole roll around her forehead until her hair is finally under control. Janie shrieked with mixed horror and delight, protecting her head with her arms. She considered whether to yank her sweater up over her hair and run screaming down the halls. Sarah Charlotte shuddered, imagining this fate. You never get it off. When we pull the tape away, we'll scalp her, you sadist. Somebody lock this boy up. He's sick and twisted. Wait, that's my line. I always say that. You're sick and twisted. I like that in a person, said Adair. I know, said Pete. Let's tape all the desks together. Let's what? Let's go into the 9th grade wing. They're all at lunch. We'll turn every desk inward and tape them together. When they get back from lunch, they won't be able to get their chairs under their desks. Oh, that's a great idea, said Sarah Charlotte. What a gift from us to them. Think how they'll waste a whole period trying to untape desks. There was a silence, while each debated whether the pleasure would be worth the pain, if they got caught, or whether they'd rather just sit there and have lunch, or if they'd be wimps if they didn't follow through on it now. Adair, who was going for her driving test the following Monday and who carried her driver's ed book with her everywhere, was not interested. Don't. Let's not do that, she begged. Somebody test me on stopping distance instead. Janie flipped the book open and read aloud the questions on stopping distances. Adair got them all right. She had the entire book memorized. I'm so afraid I'll forget something when I go for my test, said Adair. What if they don't give me my license just because I didn't remember to bring my birth certificate? Then we'll know what a dumbbell you are, said Jason. If you're that dumb, you don't deserve your brownie, so give me your dessert. Janie's body turned to ice. I have no more control over my temperature than I do over daymares, thought Janie. She said, You have to have a birth certificate to get a driver's license, right, Adair? Now her interior betrayed her. All the organs in her chest and abdomen shuddered and rippled. I don't want to know, thought Janie. Because why? Does something deep inside me know already? But why now? Why haven't I known all along? How could you forget something like your real family in the moment you were taken from them? I know I'm making it up. It's a demon. The dictionary says so. So why am I turning cold with fear? The 3 forms of identification, said Adair. I'm bringing my birth certificate, which you have to have, my social security card, and my passport. Jason laughed suddenly. I remember the first time I saw my birth certificate, he said, with its little raised seal and the gold lettering at the top. It was so official and all that. The real me. And it had the wrong birth date. I practically passed out. I thought, I'm somebody else. I'm adopted. They switched babies at the hospital. I sweated so much the paper got soggy. Janie's mouth was so dry she could not ask questions. It turns out, Jason explained, his voice rich with relief, that there are 2 dates. The day you were born and the day they register you on the records, which, in my case, was several days later. My eyes landed on the wrong date. Janie seemed to melt, like the ice cream in the sun. She had no energy left, hardly even a mind. She pictured road surfaces in the winter, ripped into potholes and heaves by the changing temperatures, ice one day, sunny thaw the next. Would the changing temperatures of her imagination rip through her too? She had never seen an insane person. They don't mean to go insane, thought Janie. What happens to their surface? Does it freeze and thaw? She had a sense that she must hold on to her sanity the way in a crowd, in a city you held onto your purse, that it would take both hands to stay sane. Reeve did not give her a ride home. She took the bus. It stopped at the corner. She had a block to walk. Theirs was an architecturally mixed neighborhood. Originally a street of substantial older houses with front porches, big attics, and trees that dumped a million leaves every autumn. Each side lot had been built upon. Modern ranches and cute little Cape Cods lay between each brown shingled old place. Her own house was an old one dramatically modernized with sheets of glass, where once there had been dark, hidden rooms. Janie walked through mountains of leaves in the gutter, waiting for the town crew to come with the frightening leaf vacuum that sucked and then mints the scarlet and gold leaves. She had never been able to watch it. She went in the side door. "Mom?" she yelled. "In here, dear." Her mother was at her desk. Lists, folders, notations, all the stuff for her various causes and crusades. "How was school, darling?" "Oh, school." "Well, I had a great day," said her mother happily. "My Laotian boy, he's made a quantum leap. He's not going to need me much longer." Her mother tutored English as a second language. The Laotian boy had one interest, and one only: sports. He wanted his terms straight so he wouldn't refer to baskets or goals for a baseball game. "Mom?" said Janie, keeping her voice light. "I'm gonna need my birth certificate for getting my driver's license. Can I see it now?" Her mother's pencil stopped moving on the form she was filling out. It seemed to Janie that her mother's knuckles tightened and whitened. Her mother said, "Darling, you won't be eligible for months." "I know, but Adair's been talking about it and I got interested." "It's in the safe deposit box at the bank," said her mother. "Oh, well then, let's go open it." "I'm very busy, darling." "Uh, let's go tomorrow then?" "Tomorrow's Saturday," said her mother quickly. "The bank's not open." Janie felt like an executioner, escorting her own mother to the guillotine. "Monday then," said Janie. Her mother said, "Jane Elizabeth Johnson, you do not give your mother orders, do you hear me? You may ask courteously, but you may not command." "Why don't you want me to see my birth certificate?" said Janie. Her mother turned a page in her notebook and stared at the blank paper. "Don't be ridiculous, Janie. Now let's have a snack. What do you feel like? I did a huge grocery shopping, new microwave and frozen stuff that we haven't tried yet, and fruit juice popsicles for you instead of ice cream." She doesn't want me to see my birth certificate, thought Janie. Because there isn't one? Because the dates are wrong? Or because she isn't in the mood to bother with the bank? In the kitchen, Janie looked at the bread box and passed on donuts, fresh onion bagels, and raspberry coffee cake. She checked the shelves, but did not feel like opening double-stuffed Oreos or Mallow Mars. She was not in the mood for strawberry vanilla yogurt or leftover pizza in the refrigerator. "I knew all along my snack wouldn't be in the freezer," she remarked. But her mother had not come in with her. Janie turned slowly, looking around the empty room. As always, after school, if her mother was home, the two of them shared snacks, discussed their day, and opened the mail together. Her mother not only remained in her study, she had even shut the door. Janie jerked open the freezer. Cold air bathed her cheeks. There was a quart of wild berry ripple ice cream, flavor of the month, for her father. From the shelf, she took her favorite bowl, a Peter Rabbit bowl she had had. Since when? Thought Janie. All my life, or since I was... She wrenched it from her mind. From the utensil drawer, she took the ice cream scoop. It was old, with a wooden handle now split from many runs to the dishwasher. The scoop itself was pitted with age. Like a painting from the bottom up, another kitchen emerged in her brain. She saw the floor first, toys on it, yellow linoleum. She saw the legs of chairs next, the legs of grown-ups, then a tabletop. It was at eye level. She was the height of the table. Janie panted like a child having an asthma attack. She could barely keep her balance. The painting grew, gathering color and detail. Not a large room, messy. 2 screaming babies, each in a high chair. The apron, that white canvas apron with a pocket of candy. A bag of Wonder Bread. She could remember the wrapper. Her voice asking for milk. But nobody heard her over the screaming of the babies. So Janie got it herself, spilling a puddle. She could remember mopping it up with a paper towel, proud of herself for making the mess and for unmaking it. She remembered being scooped up, hugged, laughter, noise, mess, commotion. The kitchen in which she really stood was large, smooth, and empty. The counters and shelves pounded in her head like cartoon things taking on life and rhythm. Abandoning the court of Wildberry Ripple, Janie ran outside. Reeve was raking leaves in his yard. Hi, he said. Come to help? I've got an extra rake. It's time you earned your keep, woman. He grinned. His face was rather long and narrow, and the grin was a surprise, because it took up so much space. You were socked with joy when Reeve smiled at you. A French-looking beret tilted on his hair. He was thigh-deep in leaves. I've got to mow the lawn again, he explained. The grass went and grew on some more. I don't know how under a foot of leaves. Here. Rake, Janie. I need you. She took the rake. Energy spilled out of her like oil from a smashed tanker. Leaves were flung into the air. She made immense and immediate progress. Reeve stared at her. She raked on until the leaves were a mountain in front of her, and the lawn a green swarm behind her. Without catching himself, Reeve fell backward into the leaf pile and sank toward the ground, brown leaves sliding over his face and chest. Janie, you have a problem? Come tell Uncle Reeve. He sprawled comfortably. The leaves crackled with every breath he took. She sat next to him, cross-legged, looking down into his face. They were in a nest, hidden from the adult world. There was nothing like a pile of leaves to make you feel little again. Reeve, do you think 800 numbers can trace a call? I mean, if you called an 800 number and didn't say anything, could they find out what phone you called from? I take it you're not going to call Time Magazine for a subscription, said Reeve, laughing. Who are you calling? The Secret Service to report assassination attempts? How did he get so close? She thought. Does he know something too? Deep down, without admitting it, does he remember? He would have been 7. I would have been 5. I thought I'd call the Milk Council to find out about new research on milk allergies, she said. Reeve shouted with laughter. Oh boy, they really want to trace that call, Jane Elizabeth. They'd figure they've got an escaped drug-running Central American dictator on the phone for sure when you talk about milk allergies. He laughed and laughed, put both his hands around her and pulled her down into the leaves with him. This is what? I just read the top of this chapter. Oh my god. I just read the top of this chapter. I know you were joking too, you know, I actually wasn't expecting her to confront her mom either, so I'm confusion. I don't know how she can experience that and just be like, well, guess I'm gonna go outside and rake some leaves. It's like, girl, if you don't get back into that house and go call that number, if you don't go to your friend's house and call that fucking number on that milk carton, get that 800 number call going. But now I have to read this foolishness because I just read it. So, chapter 5, let's get into it. Chapter 5, let's get into this. Because I read it off the top and I'm like, this is foolishness. She actually doesn't have time for this. But let me first start. Chapter 5. The kiss was long and serious. Serious like my hair, thought Janie. She stared amazed at Reeve's cheek, which was pressed against hers, and with amazement brought her lips together to kiss him again, to start the second kiss, and to choose when to end it. She could feel his heart racing, and then felt her own pick up speed and run with his. Very slowly, her hands crept around his face, finding the back of his neck where his hair lay thick over the pulse. His hand, rough surfaced, gently touched her face, moved her hair away. With the pad of his thumb, he traced her profile. Reeve, shouted his mother from the house. Reeve, where are you? Phone call, it's Michael. They fell apart, each lying back on crinkly leaves staring at the sky. Reeve said, Michael probably wants to know if, well, I better go talk to him. Okay, said Janie. She stood up first and began dusting the leaves off herself. She could feel leaf bits in her hair and down the back of her sweater. Reeve's eyes fixed on her hair, and he moved as if to brush the leaves away for her, but then he looked down at his feet, instead mumbling, "See ya," and ran into the house. Janie's heart and lungs were working as if they were trying to power a city's electricity. She picked up the rake again. Their two bodies had left prints on the leaf pile, like angels in the snow. She raked the pile back together until the prints were hidden and the evidence gone. Reeve did not come back from his phone call. The sun went behind the clouds, and she was cold. Like, I get it. Cute boy next door. Oh my god, this is like my childhood best friend. Like, I've been living with him my whole life. Like, oh my god, like, finally, like, he's kissing me. Like, oh my god, a boy likes me, da da da. Girl, you have been kidnapped. We don't have time for this. Like, actually, like, we actually don't have time for this. Like, I'm not in the mood. Like, I don't. Like, I want to be like, oh my god, yes, Janie. Like, oh my god, yay. Like, a boy kissed you. Like, yeah, that's amazing. Girl, your parents are evil. Your parents are evil. You just saw your own face on the milk carton. Like, we don't have time for this. We don't have time for this. You asked to see your birth certificate and your mom said no. What does that mean? What does that mean? Like, what is she talking about? I have never asked anything from my parent that they've not been able to show me in due time. I think I asked to see my birth certificate once, and I saw it like once or something like that. Like, I don't know, I saw it like once after like 2 days or something. Like, I asked on day 1, and they were like, I don't know, I gotta find it. And like 2 days later, they were like, here it is. They're like, I got it here. I just needed some time to go look at it. They've never said no. You know what I mean? No, you can't see it. No, you can't look at it. That we don't have access to that. She's over there like, the birth certificate's in the bank. Sounds like you don't have my birth certificate. That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like you don't have my birth certificate. Instead, this little girl is over here being fast. No. She's not being fast. I'm being silly. But, I mean, she is kind of being fast. Like, come on now. I'm being silly. She doesn't have time for this. She does not have time for this. Like, actually, she does not have time for this. Like, she needs to call that 800 number and get her parents arrested. Like, what? What are we doing? You can go make out with him. How old is this dude? 17? Yeah, like Janie, she's what, 15 or something? That's what they said at the start of the book. I can just look. I don't know why I'm saying it like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. So what are we on? We're on chapter 5. I think they said it in chapter 1. Because she's 15. Yeah, she's 15. Actually, she's 14. Oh my god, she's 14. No, 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 she's 14 because that's not her actual birthday, remember? Oh my god, he shouldn't be kissing her. Wait, wait. Oh my god, wait. Oh my god, wait. Oh my god, he shouldn't be kissing her. Oh my god, he shouldn't be kissing her. Oh my god, he should not be doing that. But like, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. Oh my god, Jeannie's not thinking about that. She's actually 14. She's actually 14. Oh no. Oh no. And listen. I have nothing against, obviously, like, high schoolers dating each other. Like, obviously, like, he's still in high school. Like, he's about to graduate. He's a senior. Like, he's still in high school. I mean, but, like, it is, like, once you start thinking, like, Janie, you're 14. Like, your parents lied to you. You're not actually. Because she thinks she's 15, turning 16 pretty soon. And she's going to turn 16 in a few months. Actually, she's going to turn 15 in a few months. Oh my god, I can't believe the parents are gonna fake their birth certificate. Oh my god. Oh my god. And again, like, I don't know, I've been in high school where, like, a senior was, like, dating, like, a sophomore or something. But she's not actually a sophomore. Like, that's the messed up part. Like, she's not actually a sophomore. Like, she's actually, like, a freshman. And I'm pretty sure if he knew that she was a freshman, like, he wouldn't be kissing her. Not to say that he wouldn't have feelings for her, because I think they mutually have feelings for each other based off of how they've described each other and everything. But, like, I think he would probably wait. I think he would have probably waited and be like, I'm gonna wait. I don't know, I'm gonna wait, maybe. I'm gonna wait. Because, like, to be fair for him, like, in his mind, he thinks that, like, they're only like 2 years apart, but actually they're like 3 years apart. Maybe they're like 3 years apart, actually. That's actually kind of big, like, in terms of like graduating. Like, it's like, oh well, she's only like a sophomore. It's like, no. Actually, she's a freshman, but she's denying this reality. Okay. Oh, I feel so bad. Oh, this is, yeah, because I think if he knew, he probably would have treated her like a little sister instead of like a romantic interest. But because they've always been framed as like being about the same age, because she was saying, like, when I was 5, he was 7, you know, they've always hung out as though they were peers, essentially. At least that's the way they've been framing it. Like, oh, they've been at each other's house. He's always been there for me. Like we're friends with each other, you know. So I'm like, I think if he knew, he'd probably be like, oh, that's my little sister right there. Or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe not. Who knows? I don't know. This is bad. This is really bad. Jeannie, you have to call that number on the back. You have to call that number. This is really bad. Oh, okay, wait. Let's read this. I know the last ad break is coming. Man, I want to just stay up all night and read this book. Okay, we're gonna read this chapter. Okay, we're gonna read this chapter and maybe chapter 6. Let's just see where it pauses. And maybe chapter 6. And then we're gonna, after chapter 6, I gotta go to bed. After chapter 6, I gotta go to bed. But, like, we'll definitely finish chapter 5. She went inside, remembering the ice cream on the counter and wondering if it had melted everywhere. But her mother had put it away. That showed such discipline, Janie, her mother complimented her, to get exercise instead of indulging in forbidden foods. And I've got a secret smile spread on her mother's face. Look, I've been practicing, she said. What do you think of it? From the refrigerator, she took out a large, rectangular pan covered in aluminum foil, which Janie thought was lasagna. Peeling back the foil, her mother showed off a sheet cake. The cake was iced and white, with purple piping on the sides, and a cute little purple football arching over purple goalposts in the center. Tomorrow we're all driving up to the university for the football game, said her mother. I'm doing dessert. Usually I go to the bakery and order lots of chocolate surprises, but this time I thought I'd do a cake. What do you think of it? Oh, it's so cute, cried Janie. Look, you even have the little team over there, painted in gel. Oh, and here's a cheerleader. Mom, I love her pom-poms. How'd you do it? Each year, they went for a tailgate picnic along with Reeve's family and Sarah Charlotte's. The football game, she thought. I'll be with Reeve tomorrow, all day. Her heart raced. I was in a Grandma Moses mood, explained her mother. I decided to do a primitive painting in purple tube art on the cake. Let me fix sound setting real quick. Need to get some leverage. They giggled. For the first time in her life, Janie regretted that Sarah Charlotte would be tagging along with her eagle eyes and endless chatter. I just hope the cake is edible, said her mother. I haven't baked a cake in 100 years. I used the Duncan Hines mix, so probably safe. There's no way to taste test, agreed Janie. Unless we cut off the goalposts and eat them tonight. Bite your tongue. This took me an entire day, Janie. Goodness, what's in your hair? Leaves, said Janie. I went to help Reeve rake, and he got silly, and we fell over in a leaf pile like a bunch of third graders. With Janie sitting on the kitchen chair and her mother standing behind her, she brushed and brushed till the red hair was full of static and the floor was covered with tiny brown bits of leaf. Janie thought of Reeve. Those leaves on the floor might be the only souvenir of her only kisses. When he ran away to take Michael's phone call, he had also been running away. Had he also been running away from the kiss he had given Janie? I think I'll do my weekend homework tonight, said Janie, since the football game will take all day Saturday. She took back her hairbrush and went upstairs to be alone with the memory of Reeve, and his lips, and his rough, soft hand. Usually, she passed her so-called homework hours on the phone with Sarah Charlotte or Adair. There were also Gretchen, Doria, and Michelle to call if Sarah Charlotte's and Adair's phones were busy. Janie was almost overcome with the desire to talk to Reeve. He kissed me, pulled me down in the leaves like somebody in a romance novel where the man is so frantic with passion he pulls her off the horse or out of the carriage and onto the bed. He should have been there. It was incredible. However, Sarah Charlotte, who liked things nailed down on all four sides, would demand, so did he ask you out? Are you dating? What kind of commitment did you get from him? So she wouldn't call Sarah Charlotte, and maybe not Adair either, because Adair would hate the part about getting leaves in her hair. Adair hated anything that was messy. Janie sighed and opened her book bag, dumping the contents on her bed. She never studied at her desk. She used the desktop for her cassette collection. Her cheap blue cloth, 3-ring notebook fell out of the top of the math, biology, American lit, and world history books. It was the kind you wrote on in a ballpoint pen, tic-tac-toe games, interlocked initials, and assorted doodles. Janie opened the cover. The back of the flattened milk carton stared up at her. Flour Dairy, the dairy that cares. 100% whole milk, 1/2 pint. She unclipped it, turned it over. Jeannie sprang, looked up at her. The 800 number was like a dart being thrown into her eyes. I could call, she thought. I could ask. But what could she ask? All the questions were unthinkable. Besides, what would it do to her parents to find out their very own daughter was calling the authorities to announce that she had been kidnapped? Her mother, who had spent the day baking a special cake and was too tired to consider going to the bank. Her father, who would come home from soccer full of victory or defeated by loss. Janie picked up her phone. She dialed 1. She dialed 800. She dialed 3, 4, 6, 7, 2. She was gasping for breath. With 2 digits to go, she hung up. She missed the phone. It clattered, slid off the bed, and hit the floor with a crash as loud as trains colliding. But her mother did not yell upstairs to see if Janie was hurt. Up here, it was the world crashing in. Downstairs, nobody had heard a sound. All right, get a grip on yourself, thought Janie. The dictionary is right. These are inspired by a demon. You have to destroy the demon. Or maybe it's just premenstrual syndrome. Except she never had previously this trouble before, during or after her periods. I will think about Reeve now, she ordered herself, glaring at the inner demon. I will think of kisses and love and dating. But she thought of Jeannie's ring, of parents somewhere in New Jersey who missed their little girl so much that all these years later they were still hoping by the thinnest thread that they would somehow find their Jeannie again, that Jeannie would be safe, not murdered or raped or abused or happy and ignorant with another family. This, thought Janie, must be what heavy drugs are like. Hallucinations, whether you want them or not, temperature changing, personality changing doses. This time, she dialed Sarah Charlotte. Busy. Then Adair. Adair had total phone and gave Janie 20 seconds of her time. She was on the phone with Pete, who, she said, seemed to be on the verge of asking her out. Then what'd you answer my call for? Demanded Janie. You might have cut him off at the moment he got the courage together. Normal persons, said Adair, can never resist a phone call. She disconnected to go back to Pete. Janie called Michelle, who did not have total phone. The phone rang twice. Somebody picked it up. Janie disconnected immediately. Rude, thought Janie. Why did I do that? Because I can't talk to Michelle about anything. If I told Michelle about Reeve, the next day the whole school would think Reeve asked me to marry him. If I told Michelle about the milk carton, the whole school would know that I actually believe I was kidnapped. The guidance department would hear rumors. They'd summon my mother from her blood mobile. Your daughter's hoping. You're not her parents. Your daughter is planning to call the FBI on you. Your daughter is living in a sick, twisted, perverted daydream in which Her body vibrated with a queer, frightening energy, as if she could have run all the way to New Jersey to that shopping center. What if I can't get this horrible idea out of my brain, she thought. What if it sits there and grows like some terrible egg, splitting open and turning into something real? All right, we're gonna have to read chapter 6. This is ridiculous. We're gonna have to read chapter 6. This is ridiculous. I'm gonna have to read this. I'm gonna have to read chapter 6. I'm so sorry. I have to read one more chapter and then I'm gonna go to bed. And then I'm gonna go to bed. Then I'm gonna go to bed after that. Like, I actually appreciate the fact that like the author is not like, and then Janie immediately called the police. Because to be honest, like, if you found out, but like it makes sense, okay, like it actually does make sense. She is 15 years old. She's actually 14, to be honest. She's 14 years old. Like, if you are a 14-year-old, like, think about what you were like when you were 14. Like, if you found out that you possibly could have been kidnapped by your parents who are completely normal at 14, like, you would have hesitancy. You would have hesitancy. She's 14. You know? Like, I'm thinking about who I was at 14. I was quite dumb. Like, and I don't want to say that, well, because her parents stole her, like these parents, because her parents stole her, they lied and they told her that she's older than she actually is. So she thinks that she's 15, but she's actually 14. So she's younger than she actually, yeah, as an adult, yeah. As an adult, yeah, she needs to call the police. But like as a kid, because she's 14, like, you know, when I was 14, I was scared to like tell my parent that like I felt depressed, you know what I mean? Like I was scared to like tell my parent that like we needed to go get like supplies from like Walmart or something like that, you know? Because I knew they were going to be upset with me. I can't imagine like me having to call the police or like call a number just to clarify on my own parents, right? And, you know, I think all the thoughts that Janie is having are pretty fair because she's like, well, do my parents like abuse me? No, they don't do that. Like, they don't abuse me. Like, how could my parents have stolen me if they seem so normal? You know, I feel like these are honest questions. These are honest to God questions. Because, I mean, I think on a lot of times too, I'm actually really happy that like the parents are extremely normal because oftentimes in these like stories, right, like the evil people are like ugly, right, for example, or they're like fat, for example, or they have some sort of disposition. Not to say that those are like undesirable traits, but you know, we live in a heterosexual, neurotypical, Eurocentric society. So they teach you in media that like, yeah, evil people look evil, right? Like if you see like an ugly stranger, they probably want to kidnap you. But that's not true. Attractive people do evil things, right? Like that's why serial killers are often extremely charismatic, right? They're extremely attractive. That's how they get away with their crimes. So I appreciate actually that like the mom is like elegant, right? And like the dad is like charming and like, you know, charismatic and like talkative. Like these are people that are in the community because evil people are in your community. You know, evil people don't live in like scary houses, right? They are people just like anyone else, and they can be charming and funny and witty and hurt you all the same. So I actually really appreciate that like attention to detail in the writing because she could have just made a story where it was like, and I'm saying she is in like Carolyn, the author, could have just made a story where it was like, and then it was like this evil family, da da da. But she's like, actually, my life kind of rocks. Like, actually, my life is kind of like awesome. Like, my life is kind of great. Like, I have this guy next door that's like in love with me, and like, I think I like him too. And like, we've been best friends. Like, I have all these great friends, and like, my parents are rich and like they're wealthy, and like, I get the biggest bedroom in the house, and like, I was able to do every single sport that like I've ever wanted to do. Like, and these are not cheap sports, by the way. I like that attention to detail as well. I didn't say that earlier, but it's like horseback riding. That's not cheap. horseback riding, like swimming, like gymnastics. I did gymnastics when I was a kid, before I became obviously more disabled than I am. But like when I was a kid, I wasn't as disabled as I am now. I loved gymnastics. It was a huge financial cost on my family, and like my parent paid for it. They paid for it because they loved me. But like gymnastics are not cheap. Sports are not cheap. And these parents are spending it no problem, you know what I mean? It's they're like, oh yeah, we can go for like these like cooking classes and do all this stuff without even thinking about it. And I know they say like at the Y, but honestly I feel like if Janie wanted to do like cooking classes outside of the Y, they would be able to afford that too. You know what I mean? I think they just do it because it's there, you know? I appreciate the fact that like the parents are caring. The parents, I mean, it's like twisted, obviously, because they stole this kid, but it's like the parents are caring. The parents have all the money in the world. Why would Janie think that her parents would do this to her? You know what I mean? Why would my parents do this to me? They've always loved me. They care about me. Yeah, they're being a little weird right now, but I don't know. Like, and that's how evil people get you, right? Like that is the cycle of like abuse where it's like, well, why would my abuser treat me like this if they're so nice to me, right? 10 out of 10 so far. That's why I'm like, I'm in it. I'm in the thick of it. Shout out KSI. I'm in the thick of it with Janie, me and her. Me and her. And also, to be fair to Janie, it's been like 1 week. Barely that. I think it's been like 2 days. Like timeline wise, I think it's been like 2, maybe 3 days. I don't know. If that were me, it may take me like a few weeks. I don't know. It may take me like a few weeks. Like she's processing, I think, as good as she can, to be honest, for the first like couple days. I don't know. It might take me a little bit. I don't know. If I was 14 and I thought that my parents kidnapped me, I don't know. It might take me a little bit. Okay, let's read chapter 6, and then after chapter 6, I have to go to bed because like my body is like crying out. Like my body is like really crying out to go and like lie down. It's like very, very tight right now. I need to like stretch out on the bed and give my body some peace because I've been in a chair all day for work and now I'm in a chair to read. But God, this book is so good. Okay. I haven't felt this excited to like read a book since like maybe like the Graveyard Book. No, what was that? Hunger Games. I was so excited to read Hunger Games every single night. I was like, wow, wow. I feel like that again. I'm like, oh my God, what's gonna happen next? Even though I already read the Hunger Games like 6 times already, but I forget everything that happens in those books. I always remember like the main beats, but like the middle points, I always forget. Where I'm like, I don't remember that at all. Don't remember that at all. So it's been a while since I've been like this invested. I'm like, oh, maybe like Graveyard Book. I thoroughly enjoyed the Graveyard Book, don't get me wrong. Or maybe like Coraline. I like Coraline too. That was a good book. But I'm like in the mystery. I'm like, what is gonna happen? Okay, chapter 6. In separate in separate cars, the Johnsons, the Shields, and the Sherwoods drove upstate to the football game. Please let me drive, Janie begged her parents. Sarah Charlotte's family is letting her drive because he needs the highway practice, and Reeve gets to drive the whole way. Reeves had his license an entire year, said her father, and Sarah Charlotte's been practicing longer than you have. I've never driven on the highway, said Janie. Please, 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 please. This is the perfect day to start. Lots of sunshine, no rain, no ice on the roads, no summer people traffic. All right, said her mother nervously. Certainly not, said her father. Old times. Progressive mother, conservative father. Janie waited for the debate to commence and for them to meet in the middle. They would probably let her drive part of the way. Oh, all right, said her father. I keep not wanting to believe you're going to be 16 soon. I don't like the year 16. Janie giggled and took the keys from her mother's hand. Her parents clicked in their seat belts firmly as if to say, "We're sure gonna need them this time." "Have faith," said Janie reproachfully. "Take off the parking brake," said her father. "I was going to, Daddy, you just didn't give me time." She backed out perfectly out of the driveway. Not only did Reeve come out of his door this time to see her drive, but so did his older sister, Lizzie. I'm gonna be honest with you. I really think the only reason why they let her drive on the highway, or why they're gonna let her drive on the highway, is so that Janie stops asking fucking questions about that birth certificate. Janie, you don't feel those vibes? Oh, okay. Like, I asked about the birth certificate yesterday night, and suddenly I'm allowed to drive the next day. Isn't that suspicious? Isn't that suspicious? Janie, don't you feel those vibes? Oh, your parents who always love to argue are suddenly aligned? Interesting. Interesting. Okay. I feel like this is a pattern, Janie, with your family. Haven't you ever noticed that? Like, every single time that maybe you're questioning something, suddenly you get your way. It's kind of interesting. They're like, "Oh, don't call the police, Janie. Don't call the police, Janie. We'll let you drive in the highway, Janie." That's suspicious. It's very suspicious. Lizzie was not one of Janie's favorite people. Lizzie had occasionally babysat for Janie in the past, but not because she liked kids. Lizzie rarely did anything except for the money. Lizzie was supposed to be safely in law school now, being as brilliant there as she had been in Princeton. Janie had not considered Lizzie's absence a loss to the neighborhood. How annoying to see Lizzie home. It would certainly tense Reeve up. Even from the far end of the driveway, Janie could see how straight Lizzie's spine was, how intense her face was, how determined her jaw was. It seemed unlike Lizzie to come home for a mere football game. Lizzie was opposed to frivolous wastes of time. Lizzie was oh so opposed to Reeve, and had been all their lives. But there was a silver lining to this. Reeve would be very eager to go off with Janie. She wanted to wave to Reeve, but was not coordinated enough to change gears, aim the car, miss the curb, and wave all at the same time. Reeve did not act as if Lizzie had crushed him yet. He leaped around like a demented boy cheerleader, signaling with both arms and screaming syllables she could not hear. "Look out for that car up there," said her mother. "You're following too closely," said her father. "Please," cried her mother. "Not over 25. They were gripping their seats, the seat belts, and the armrests with white knuckles. "How am I doing?" said Janie happily. She loved driving. The power of it, even diluted by her mother and father's panic, power filled her body. She, Janie, controlled destination, speed, passing, radio volume, and stopping time. She felt as if she had been born to drive, as if car designers had modeled the driver's seat just for her. She loved checking the rearview mirror and watching the brake lights ahead of her and reading the route numbers on road signs. For Janie, it was a perfect hour and a half. However, Reeve and Sarah Charlotte, permitted to drive normal speeds like real drivers, had arrived first. When the Johnsons reached the designated parking lot for tailgate picnics, Sarah Charlotte and Reeve stood on the pavement shouting, "You'll never be able to park it. Jinx, Jinx. Try steering." She parked perfectly. "So there," she said to her parents. Her mother said, "This has been an excellent weight loss program. I'm sure I lost 5 pounds since I've been home." "You'll put it all back on after eating your own picnic," said her father, dragging out the leg of lamb, the wine, the wild rice, and the sheet cake with the footballs. And that was just what the Johnsons had brought. Reeve's mother had a ham, and Sarah Charlotte's mother had all the classics: potato salad, coleslaw, macaroni salad, and fried chicken. I'm gonna be honest, this picnic's kind of sleep. I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know about this picnic. I don't know. I don't think I want to come. I don't know about this. I don't know about that. Potato salad, coleslaw, macaroni salad. That man said he brought out a leg of lamb, the ham. He said wild rice, wine. Brother, I don't know. Sounds like they're eating a little bit too good. Whatever Sarah Charlotte's mother brought, I don't want it. Thanksgiving ass picnic, but there's no macaroni and cheese. I mean, the fried chicken might be good, but I don't know if it's seasoned. It doesn't look like Sarah Charlotte's mother can season food. I don't know. It doesn't sound like it to me. I don't know. And also, like, Janie's father can, or not Janie's father, Janie's mother can't bake. So that cake's probably trash. I don't know. That cake. She just said she hasn't baked in years. I'm like, I don't know about that. Whatever. I don't trust the mac and cheese. There's no mac and cheese. There's macaroni salad, so you can eat that. And ham, if you'd like some ham. There's ham. The weather was wonderful. Sweater weather. In the shelter of their 3 cars, they ate till forced to rest their stomachs. We'll need a tow lift to get us back into the stadium, joked Janie's father, who had lamb, ham, bananas. No, he had lamb, ham, and fried chicken. He said all the birds, all the meat, everything. He said land, sea, and air will be in my tummy. And there's no sea. There's no sea. No one brought fish. Unfortunate. Someone should have brought fish. That would have really made it. Janie's mother played with the aluminum foil, hiding the sheet cake, while Lizzie discussed the constitutional law cases she was now analyzing. If Lizzie laughs at my cake, Janie's mother whispered to her, or at you, Janie murmured back, we'll murder her, breathed Janie's mother. But then we'd need a lawyer, whispered Janie. And we'd just have gotten rid of the only one around. They giggled. Mr. Sherwood thought the kids should go away and explore the campus before dessert, thus giving the adults some peace. We're not babies anymore, said Sarah Charlotte irritably, needing our diapers changed and our bottles heated. No, but you talk a lot more, said her father, and we'd like our own conversation without you, okay? But I still love you, kind of. Sarah Charlotte made a face, claiming this lukewarm parental love meant she deserved her own car, insurance paid, and gas supplied, of course. Uh-huh, said her father dryly. Reeve turned to his sister, grinning. Come on, Lizzie, he teased. They want the kids to leave so they can have a mature conversation. I'm the only one here who will bother with a mature conversation, said Lizzie. They just want to gossip. She took a chicken leg, leaned back, and said to Janie's father, Your turn, Frank. Janie tried to imagine one day calling her friends' parents by their first names, failed, and fled with Reeve and Sarah Charlotte. Crazy, the kidnappers are hanging out with the other families. But that's what I was saying earlier. Like, they integrated themselves, like, into the community. They made themselves staples in the community. You know what I mean? Like, that's how you do it. I mean, I'm not giving you tips, but, like, that's how you do it, you know? Like, if you want to get away with a crime, I mean, you got to integrate yourself into a community. You've got to make yourself inseparable from the community. You got to make everybody like you in that community. You know what I mean? It reminds me of Gone Girl. Oh my god, I love Gone Girl. Love Gone Girl. You gotta watch Gone Girl if you've never seen Gone Girl. I don't want to spoil it. If you've never seen Gone Girl, you have to watch that. It makes such a good, like, Friday night movie. You have to watch that. It's so good. I mean, everybody always says this. I literally, okay, this is an aside, but like I watched a documentary this weekend, or last weekend actually, when I got banned off of my main channel. That same night, I just ended up watching a documentary. I watched Maternal Instinct on Netflix. Terrible, terrible community, by the way. Terrible community. I mean, obviously, terrible story. Maternal Instinct follows um, a woman who basically lies about a pregnancy and then ends up murdering and stealing a pregnant woman's baby in this community. Um, and throughout the entire documentary, they're interviewing basically everybody. And I swear to you, I hate it when people are like, you never would have guessed this happened. Because then you start hearing the story and it's like, well, yeah, I could have guessed. If you ever want to be upset, go watch Maternal Instinct on Netflix. It's like an hour and a half or something. It is just a bunch of people denying reality. It's a bunch of people literally looking at this woman be absolutely fucking insane and then being like, well, what are we gonna do? And it's like, somebody needs to call the fucking police. That's what we need to do. What? So it's like super realistic. Like people often will just like see crazy shit happen. They'll be like, well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Not in our community. I always hate that so much. Oh yeah, especially because like in this story, the crime was like 100% like avoidable. Like 100% avoidable. So it's insane that it even happened. Yeah, but you should watch that documentary if you ever want to be upset. Because I was so upset after I watched that. I was upset with everybody in that documentary. I was like, everybody literally failed this woman. Actually, like, it's insane. Anyway, so it happens all the time. They wandered around the campus, talking about what college would be like if I even get in, said Reeve gloomily, and how they yearned to live in dorms and be away from the confining rules of their parents. Janie was lying. College terrified her. There was nothing she wanted less than to live on her own. The harsh glass and steel dorms the freshmen had did not look as if they would ever be home to anybody. They looked like cages for loneliness. Imagine 5,000 freshmen you had never met. Reeve said, my parents and guidance think I should take a postgraduate year, repeat some of my high school subjects to get better grades, and then go on to college. How humiliating, remarked Sarah Charlotte. You're supposed to tell me nobody would notice, said Reeve. Of course they'd notice. It'd be like staying back, said Sarah Charlotte, who was not sensitive. Jordan Feingold and Leda Lang stayed back in second grade, and I never see them without remembering that. How comforting, said Reeve. Janie wanted to hold his hand, the one whose thumb had drawn itself so tightly down her nose, bumping over her lips, landing on her chin. But she could not tell if Reeve was interested in this or not. He was full of energy. She and Sarah Charlotte were sloths compared to Reeve, stumbling in his wake. They had excellent seats, 6 rows up, left of center. Janie mostly watched the cheerleaders, who were heavy on gymnastics. They had tiny trampolines and were endlessly catapulting off each other's shoulders. She particularly liked how one tiny cheerleader with flowing golden hair stood on the palms of a boy cheerleader who could hold her easily at his own shoulder level. With some ceremony, Miss Johnson opened her sheet cake for admiration and cut it up to serve during the second quarter. They ate it with their fingers, getting icing all over themselves and licking their fingers clean because nobody had remembered napkins. "Let me have another piece," said Reeve, nudging his hip bone into Janie's. "You've had 2 already," she said. "I'm cold. Don't move away." He didn't move away. She cut another square for him and something gave her the courage to feed it to him. Bite, bite, bite. His lips and tongue touched her fingers with every bite. Neither of them saw the second half of the game. They were both startled to find that it had ended. People were on their feet. Sarah Charlotte was saying, "We won, you 2. You want me to write it out the details so you'll feel as if you were here?" First of all, I just want to say, insanity to do this in front of every family member you ever know. Absolute insanity. Absolute insanity, Janie. Absolute insanity. Your mom and dad are here. I know they're your kidnappers, but your mom and dad are here. Your boyfriends, not even your boyfriend, your crush's parents are here, and you're one of your best friends' parents are here. Girl, hang it up. Girl, hang that shit up. This is how I know Janie is white. This is white people activity. This is this is white people activity. What do you mean you're making? What do you mean you're feeding him by hand and he's like licking your fingers in front of mom and dad? What is going on here? What is going on here? What is going on? Janie, if you don't wrap this shit up, mind you, in front of her kidnappers, what are we doing here? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? She's over there getting her fingers licked in front of her kidnappers instead of focusing on calling 911. Oh my god. Oh my god. Sarah Charlotte spent the night at Janie's. They rented movies, comedies that they'd seen before and knew they liked. Sarah Charlotte grilled Janie at great length about Reeve, analyzing the leaf pile in the football game. "He loves you," said Sarah Charlotte. "You don't have to sound so irritable about it," said Janie. "I didn't want to be the one left behind. Pete asked to dare out, and here's Reeve literally eating out of your hand. And who's there for me? Nobody." This led to an always pleasant activity of ripping apart the personalities of boys who had displayed no interest in Sarah Charlotte. They slept late, and their sole activity in the morning was reading the Sunday comics. Monday morning, in Spanish, the teacher passed out information on a winter vacation ship she was chaperoning to Spain. "Anybody who wants to may go," she said. "First come, first serve." "Ooh, let's, breathed Sarah Charlotte, nudging Janie. "If you have any thoughts of going at all, and yet you don't have a passport, you need to apply immediately," said the teacher. "It can take months. You need your birth certificate and another piece of identification to get one." "The bank is open today," thought Janie. See. Janie, like my thing, okay. My thing about stealing a baby, right? What do you mean Spain? I mean, they live in a rich neighborhood, to be fair. Like, when I lived in a rich neighborhood when I was younger, like when I was in high school, I went to a very rich school that had like rich white kids in it, right? And like, yeah, they did shit like this all the time. I just couldn't go. They did shit like this all the time where it's like, yeah, we're taking a trip to like Spain. Oh yeah, the whole class is like going to like Disney or something, and it's like, yeah, I can't afford that. I'm sorry guys, I can't go. I can't go to that shit. What the fuck? Fucking Disney World in the middle of the year? What the fuck are you guys talking about? I can't go to that. It's a very rich kid thing to do. Could never in my public school. Yeah, when you get to some of these like rich, I mean, I went to a public school, but it was a very rich neighborhood. Like I said before. Howdy, tiger shark. Okay, but like my thing is when you steal a baby, like why wouldn't you just like get the baby a passport? Right? Like that's what I'm saying. Like why wouldn't you just get the baby a passport? Because like Janie is a minor, right? Like, do they not have a fake birth certificate at this point? I think they should have already had that. Like, I think if like they don't, I personally think like you shouldn't really steal a baby if you're not planning to go all the way, you know? I think if you're gonna steal a baby, I think you should go all the way. You should have a fake passport. You should have not even a fake passport. All you need is the fake birth certificate. And then go get a real passport because the kid is a minor, right? The kid's a minor. So, like, it's not like the kid can go get the passport by themselves. Like, you have to go do that. And, like, I know, like, I guess their thought process is like, we're not going to allow her to travel, you know? But it's like, did they not think that, like, the school would not go on trips? I'm confused about this part because, like, high schoolers definitely go on big trips like this, especially in rich neighborhoods. They go on trips many times. Like, I think the band kids went on trips, I swear to you, like every 3 months or something like that. Like, high schoolers in rich neighborhoods definitely go on trips pretty frequently. So it's like, did they not think that like the kids would need a passport at some like the kid would have needed a passport at some point? I'm confused. I would have just gotten the passport even if I never used it. You know what I mean? Like if I stole a baby, I would have just gotten the passport. Exactly. Like why didn't you just homeschool her? But then they can't have her in this neighborhood. That's my thing. I'm like, well, then you can't have her in this neighborhood because you can't have this kid homeschooled in this neighborhood. They'd be like, why don't you put your kid in the school? Yeah, that would cause an investigation in this neighborhood because rich people are incredibly nosy. They're like so nosy. So they're definitely going to ask. They're going to be like, oh, we didn't know you had a kid. Like, your kid should come over and like hang out with my kid. Oh my god, why doesn't your kid go to school? The kid should go to school. So like the police would get called immediately. So again, I don't know, why are you even stealing this kid? I'm so why are you stealing this kid? Okay, let's go see. In English, they got back their corrected essays. Janie got a B. Sweet sense of humor, Mr. Brylow wrote, although not what I had in mind. At the top, he had circled Jayne Johnstone, adding, Janie, are you having an identity crisis? At lunch, Janie got a wrist flick from Reeve, nothing more. She thought, he's not ready, or maybe not even thinking about doing anything public. She wondered what stages you went through to reach the moment where you could speak to each other in front of your friends or refer to each other, admitting, I like him. I thought he was going to ask you out, said Sarah Charlotte sadly. Janie, he's so adorable with that moppy hair. I think he needs a decent haircut, agreed Janie. She didn't commit herself to anything more. She opened her lemonade carton. The rest opened their milks. She looked at Jason's milk. There was a different child on the carton. A boy. Nobody mentioned him. Nobody referred to Janie's claim last week to have been the kidnappee. As far as Janie could tell, nobody even remembered. Not even Sarah Charlotte. Adair had everybody's attention, having skipped first period class to go to the motor vehicle bureau for her driver's test. Flushed and proud, she displayed her brand new license. Everybody politely agreed that she was recognizable in the photo. Although she was not. Nobody ever was. Adair wanted to show off her driving skills. Everybody, she insisted, had to be passengers in her car. And go to the mall that afternoon. You coming, Janie? said Adair, more excited than Adair ever allowed herself to be. Janey had not known that Adair's smooth finish, shiny and shallak, was an achievement Adair worked for. But Janey wanted to go to the bank, not the mall. She said by way of excuse, "I'll have to call my mother and ask." "Janey, you're still not allowed out by yourself," teased Jason. "Her mother is the strictest woman on earth," said Sarah Charlotte. "How come?" Jason wanted to know. "What terrible history do you have, Jane Johnson?" And that's where we're going to pause for tonight. That's why I don't even want to look at chapter 7 because I'm going to start reading it already. That's where we're going to pause for tonight. 7 minutes is all I can spare to play with me. I didn't offer. I didn't offer a playroom, so I'm confused about that part. But thank you for the hydrate and the Reddit mod. Thank you. Good book. That's what I was saying. After I read that first chapter, I was like, oh my god, fuck Alice in Wonderland, man. Fuck Alice in Wonderland. I'm like, we've got to read this one. This is so good. I'm actually like so excited. I am so excited. Because I'm like, okay, listen. This story could go like 600 ways. This story could literally go like 600 ways. Like, because to be honest, like, even if she confronts them with like all of the evidence, right? Like, we're not even there yet, right? But like, even if she confronts them with all of the evidence, in my mind, I feel like they're gonna gaslight the fuck out of Janie. I'm not even lying. I feel like they're gonna gaslight the fuck out of Janie. I feel like when she has that first confrontation, I feel like they're gonna be like, "Girl, what are you talking about? Like, why would you even think something like this? That's fucking crazy. Like, we're your parents. Like, how dare you? This is so inappropriate." And they're gonna make her feel fucking crazy. Like, I feel like that's where this is going. But then again, I'm like, I don't know. And also too, like, honestly, like, what is preventing them from like literally like kidnapping her again? Like, not for nothing. Like, actually not for nothing, but like what if they kidnap her again and they're like, okay, we're leaving this space, we're leaving this area, we're leaving everywhere, we're going, we're out of here. Like, she can't like run away. You know what I mean? That a parent steals a child and goes the fuck off somewhere. You know, I was thinking what I actually think might happen. This is another like aside, right? I think Janie and Reeve are gonna run off together. I'm being so serious. This is like my actual theory. Like, I think Janie is gonna find something out about, her real parents, and she's going to confront them. Yes, she's gonna confront them, and it's gonna go bad. Like, I think she's gonna confront these parents, right? It's gonna go terrible, and then she's gonna run away because Reeve can already drive. I kept thinking about that this entire time. Like, they put such an emphasis on the fact that, like, Reeve can drive and he drives fast and he's a little impulsive, right? He's a little impulsive and he doesn't really give a fuck about staying here, right? Like, he doesn't really care about this area. He likes Janie. He loves Janie, actually, but he doesn't even love his family. And at the start of the book, he said that, like, he wants to go be anonymous, like he wants to like live in the city and be anonymous. And Janie said, like, in response to that, she was like, well, I have the perfect name to be anonymous. And I've been thinking about that this entire time. I'm like, I feel like they're kind of setting up that like they're gonna have a really bad confrontation and then she's gonna run away to go find her birth mom. She's gonna like go run away with Reeve to go find her birth mom. They're gonna take that fucking Jeep and they're gonna go run. They're gonna go fucking drive until they can't drive anymore to go find Janie's birth family. Like, I think that's where this is going. They're setting it up. They're setting it up so that like Reeves and her get a little bit close. so that, you know, the love is right, the love is in the air, so that he'll do this for her, he'll run away with her, he'll support her in this. Like, he's not gonna be like, oh, you're crazy, because I love you, so obviously, like, let's go do this. And then all of the rest of her friends are gonna be like, Janie, what are you doing? Like, you're so fucking crazy. I feel like that's where this is going. Like, actually, that's my theory. That is my theory as of right now, because I'm like, I just don't see how they're gonna solve this by the end of this book. Like, I keep thinking about it. We're like 32% of the way into the book. And I'm like, oh my god, we're in chapter 7. And like, she hasn't even called the number. You know what I mean? She hasn't even called the number yet. I feel like it's gonna be very bad. Like, I feel like, you know, when you're like on a roller coaster, right? And it's like chugga chugga chugging along. And it keeps chugging and it's like really slow at the top. I feel like it's one of those where it's like right now we are chugging and like we're feeling the anticipation, like the answers are all there, they're laid in front of us, but we have yet to go over the hill, you know what I mean? And feel that rush, and I feel like that's gonna be the confrontation, and then it's all gonna go to shit. Like, her entire life is like gonna go to shit the minute she like either calls the number or like has that confrontation. Like, it's just all gonna fall apart like all at once, because I don't understand how it won't fall apart, you know what I mean? I'm like, I just don't see it, but the author's been cooking. This is probably gonna take me like, how far? We were 32% of the way. Yeah, it's probably gonna take me like 2 streams. I just did the math. It's probably gonna take me like 2 more streams for me to finish this book, unfortunately. Oh, that's like 3 weeks. Oh my god, I just want to read the whole book right now. I just want to read the whole book right now. Oh my gosh. I thoroughly have been enjoying this book. Really, really enjoying this book. Yeah, thank you for chilling with me tonight and reading this. This has been a lot of fun. So much fun. I'm so sad. I'm like, wow, I want to have a stream. I want to have another stream just so I can read this book. I want to have another one just so I can read this book some more, because I'm like, man, what is Janie gonna do? I'm like, what is Janie going to do? Like, you are the streamer after all. Well, I'm not gonna have another stream. There's no room for that, Enu, because we have to have the just chatting stream. You know what I mean? There's no room for that, Enu. We have to have the just chatting stream. There's literally no room. Unless you're telling me to give up Friday's just chatting stream in order for us to yap away our lives. What if we read on Friday? I think you want to yap. I have this feeling that like everybody wants to yap, you know? I got this feeling when I don't do a just chatting stream, everyone gets real sad, and I think people want to yap their lives away. I do. But next week, you know, I gotta build up the anticipation. Next week, why not both? Yeah, I know both because it's on the second channel. That's why. Because it's on the second channel. That's why. And I gotta give content to the first channel. I can't just abandon. Yeah, I gotta get content to the second channel. Well, this is the second channel, but I gotta give content to the first channel as well. I love book streams. I really, really do. Love book streams. It's always good when you find a new. Oh, did not mean to type that. It's always good when you find like a new book. It was worth a try. Yeah, you can't beat the yapping streams. Everybody loves it when I start banning people in chat, you know? Everybody loves it when I start banning people in chat. They love the banning. That's me rolling down a hill while I'm reading about murder. It's not really a murder. While I'm reading about kidnappings and whatnot. Gotta get that bingo, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, it's been really nice. It's been a nice stream. I am gonna go to bed. I am. And I'm also going to read out I'm gonna read to Nero, who's doing a ASMR vibe and stream, comfy Roblox situation. Oh my god, I can't see shit. I can't see anything. Comfy Roblox situation. Because, I was just doing ASMR, so it's good to share the love because I was rated. Normally I don't rate out, but I'll do it today. If no one's told you you're loved, you're valued, you are appreciated, I'm gonna keep doing the book streams until I feel bored. So when I feel bored, I'll do like a yapping stream. But until then, I'm gonna keep doing the book streams because they bring me joy. And then I don't know, when I feel like doing like an ASMR trigger heavy session, then I'll do that. But as of right now, I don't feel like it, so I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, if you want to see more ASMR, I'm gonna be back next week, continuing reading this book. The VOD will be up on YouTube in a nice little playlist, as are the rest of mine on my ASMR YouTube channel. On Friday and Saturday, I'll be on main doing more angry stuff, like yelling angrily and yapping angrily about things. As always, until next time, goodbye, good night, sleep tight, night night, good night, sleep tight. I'm off to Sleepy Time Junction, okay? Okay,